back your homes or restore your dead to life.
But perhaps I can give you justice in the name of our king.
Hey, welcome back to a long time coming return of the podcast that drinks and knows things. Welcome back, everyone. We are excited to be back. I'm excited to be back. We're here talking about Game of Thrones House of the Dragon, the prequel to Game of Thrones. And I am, as always, joined by a fellow Psycho Stick fan, Glenn of House Dog. We both happen to wear a Psycho Stick shirt today, so...
What are the odds?
What are the odds? Welcome back. How have you been?
Oh, not too bad.
What are you drinking tonight?
I'm drinking a beer with a Jack Daniel's Tennessee Honey Koozie and a wine.
Should it be Tennessee whiskey? No? Is that
close.
different thing?
So
Different
it's
thing
actually
entirely?
Charleville Tornado Alley.
Tornado Alley. Very nice. All right. I am also joined here in studio, like they can give high fives to each other. Gertie of House Condescension is right next to Glendog,
Hi.
a wine barrel away.
A wine barrel away.
There it is. And what are you drinking? Welcome back.
Thanks. Good to be back. I am drinking St. James Winery Velvet Red.
Velvet Red.
Yeah,
Crush Velvet Red.
it's just velvet.
Okay.
Red.
All right. Well, that's okay.
No
That's
crushing
right.
tonight.
And via the satellite internet,
Interwebs.
Sly, House McLean, Bench. How are you now?
Mm.
Oh, Randers, Cheeseburger Saturday. It's Cheeseburger Saturday all
Mr.
day.
Leahy.
No, I think I can speak for all of us. Can we get a real quick cheers? The podcast that drinks and knows things is back, and I don't know. I am very excited about this new show. We've got a lot to talk about. Obviously, we are here to drink and then know. We are not experts in all of the background lore. Some of us have read Fire and Blood, but not
Some
all of us.
started it today.
But not all of us are experts. Some of us have definitely gone through it at least once and are going through it again, and some of us have poured
Are
over
you
it.
pointing at me?
Yeah, you've definitely gone through the whole thing at one point.
Not really.
Not really.
I haven't downloaded. I kind of gone through it, but then like forgot, and then
I
it just.
downloaded it.
I'm really streaky when it comes to that kind of stuff, and like, I'm either listening to it for days at a time or not at all for like 6 months.
And that's okay. And I've been poring over it for basically since Game of Thrones ended. I've never stopped reading this book. No, that's not true. I have the Silmarillion to deal with too. We'll talk about that in a couple weeks. Actually, next week. That's coming up very, very soon. Anyway, I am Luke out of House Blackmead, and we are here talking about episode 1 of season 1 of Game of Thrones. Yeah, I am also drinking, well, not also, because Glenn said he was drinking a beer. I'm drinking the wine that Glenn brought, a Pinot Noir, 1924 port barrel aged from California. That's all it says. It was in, yeah, it's good. Oh, that's pretty low. It's quite local. Like, I was gonna say, you could probably walk there right now.
Reach out and touch.
Reach out and touch face. No.
No. Oh yeah.
We're off to a great start, folks. Great start. So, this is the podcast that drinks and knows things. We are the people that we just said we are, sometimes at least. And we are talking about an episode that we're calling The Hair of the Dragon. This is being recorded on August 27th of 2022. We're talking about Season 1, Episode 1, The Heirs of the Dragon of House of the Dragon. Hey, listen to Drinks and Knows Things on...
Benji has no sound.
Benji has no sound. Benji's not coming through at all. Great. Fucking awesome. Let's fix that real quick, because I can probably click 2 buttons and it's going to work. Ready? I'm going to click this, click properties. So Benji, all of the funny things that you just had, you're coming through now.
Hey, folks.
There you go.
Yep. Hey, folks. There I am.
Hey,
so basically,
we've done this before.
Hi, howdy. Yeah. And because I saw the first thing of muted, but then nobody else. But thanks, guys. No, basically, what I'm drinking is a Manhattan from a very, very, very local distillery called Hollow Log. You might be able to find them in about 10 years. So just
it's his garage. It's his garage. All he's talking about.
Don't hold your breath.
Yeah.
All right. So, you guys want to start getting towards the episode here?
Sure.
We are talking about House of the Dragon, Season 1, Episode 1. And we're not really going to change the format that we originally had very much for all of our Game of Thrones episodes, because we don't change well. So we don't like to be surprised. And when you're drinking, the best thing you can do is just get in a pattern. Drinking muscle memory is what we're going to lean into. So, Benji, can you describe what our first section of this episode was like?
Well, sure, but let's talk about really quick. Episode duration of this was 106. It first aired on August 21st of 2022, directed by Miguel Sapochnik, and written by Ryan Condal, as well as George Martin and a few others, but Ryan gets the main writers thing.
And the episode description from HBO.
It says, Viserys hosts a tournament to celebrate the birth of his second child. Rhaenyra welcomes her uncle Daemon back to the Red Keep.
Okay, we'll discuss that at the end if that's accurate or not. Benji, tell us the first section.
All right. So the first section I dubbed the prologue. Pretty fitting. We get a quick rundown of the patriarchy in play and a timestamp for dum-dums like me to know exactly when this is taking place. There are no opening credits.
There's not even like a title screen. We never even get.
It's the dragon. It's the dragon. You know that.
I know, but they never even. I'm saying they never specifically show the logo. Like we don't get like a Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon scene, like, which is different. It's just a little different. There's not a dedicated intro credit scene, which we had for all the time.
And I was wondering, because I didn't go back and watch, it was episode 1 of 1. I was wondering if they did the opening credits in 1-1.
They did. There was a cold opening of North of the Wall originally, but it does go to the dun 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 dun.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I wonder if they just did that just because it didn't want it to be Game of Thrones. Like this is their own thing, I guess. No.
Right. No. So I think that's going to be a consistent thing. An overall theme that we'll probably touch on is it's called Game of Thrones House of the Dragon, right? That's what the logos show. That's what it's called on HBO. And I think it's interesting because we're going to see a lot of, obviously it's in the same world, but it's not the same story. It's a totally different era. It's 172 years.
And I don't think they
beforehand.
jump around that much either.
And it's a much more linear story. At least so far, it seems like there's fewer different groups that we're just jumping around to different areas of the world. It's a little bit more linear. And we're going to be talking about, well, they did things in Game of Thrones show this way, but I think they are, like you said, Glenn, trying to make it their own thing. It's going to be its own
I kind of
show.
hope they don't. I kind of hope they don't. I want them to keep just the cold boom flashcard intro. You know, because it makes it their own thing. It makes it stand out, and also it's just by today's standards, you don't have that, especially with like a lot of streaming shows and a lot of binge watch shows. Later on, you don't want to have to hit skip intro, skip intro, skip intro. You've seen it once.
So they're just skipping it for you. They're just not giving an intro.
Take the option out.
And I'm okay with that. You know,
maybe our podcast should take a note from that book, because we have like a 4-minute intro video.
Skip delays.
I'm just saying, you know,
skip the hour delay.
30 seconds.
Let's move the episode to 9:15.
So let's just keep pushing it back. All right, so let's talk about this prologue. We see some history on King Jaehaerys, right? And the Great Council of 101. Abby, do you have anything that you picked up on that?
The council?
Yeah, just the prologue in general. All of it up until the end of that.
Okay, so, well, my biggest thing with that was it sucks to be a girl. And Viserys, he gives this like quick, guilty, or maybe surprised, but at least there's this small acknowledgement of this might possibly be slightly unfair or surprising. Like, there's some type of look that he gives that leads me to believe that he's kind of like, okay, and like glad to
Viserys himself.
Yes.
Yeah.
Glad to take up the helm, but
he kind of sees where that might not have been the way I thought it should have gone.
Yes.
I'm not going to turn it down, but at the same time, maybe some underhanded, short-sighted things going on.
Well, and I mean, it was chosen by 1,000 people.
Lords,
so, Lords, right? Lords.
They want to keep the patriarchy in chains.
Yeah.
It's going to be my theme
then I
for
wonder
tonight.
though, like I wonder if they will go back and discuss this in like future episodes or something. But did like Rhaenyra or Rhaenyra and Viserys and all the other ones of them, you know, kind of politic and everything, or were they kind of backseating, let other people decide and all that? I want to know like the history of that. Was it an actual, like, for Viserys's input into it? Did he actually attempt to become king, or was it I'm just going to sit back and let people just decide, you know, just kind of
like,
thing?
did he run for king?
I think
yes.
My theory about this is there was 14 resumes that were submitted to the king, but there was only 2 that were likely candidates, and kind of the other resumes were just kind of, oh yeah, well, we'll look through it and then place it in the trash.
Yeah, we're gonna look at that one.
We'll let you know.
We'll call you.
Yeah, and then they don't. And
no, I think
you don't get the job.
And that's about how it went, right? When it comes down to it, you boil it down, and there are only 2 real candidates when it comes down to it. There are a bunch of ways you can make a claim, right? But
you gotta have a cover letter.
You gotta have the right cover letter.
3 references.
See, Glenn could get hired right now. He understands what it takes. You know, you gotta have those references. And Rhaenys and Viserys had the best references, is what it comes down to. And maybe Viserys had the best references, even though he didn't think they were good references, is what we're coming back to.
That's what it boils down to.
And,
you're exactly right.
But because, in my opinion, yeah, Rhaenys should have had it. That's what, in my opinion, she was deemed the one that should have been done. So that's like
so she's Jaehaerys' daughter,
granddaughter.
Sister. We're talking about Rhaenys. We're talking about the Great Council of 101. The queen that never was is Viserys' sister. Rhaenyra is his granddaughter.
I thought one of them was a cousin or something.
It is cousin. It's his dad's
oldest brother.
Yeah.
Look at me knowing things.
Again,
I get to
we
drink.
are not experts on these things.
Yeah,
I told you.
Rhaenys is Jaehaerys' niece, eldest niece of his eldest brother.
Yes. Aenys.
Yeah. Yes.
But anyway.
And Viserys was the eldest son of his younger brother.
I think just for sanity on our podcast, let's not worry too much on the lineage. There are other podcasts that are much tighter on that. Like, please don't hold us to the same candle of being experts on the Targaryen family tree. Can we just all put that out there that we're going to say things wrong at times? We're just going to go by feel. That's what we're here for. So
nothing much has changed.
So at the end all be all, 101 Great Council, Viserys was chosen by a landslide, like Fleetwood Mac was talking about. And
Stevie, man.
And you can take your Stevie Nicks and shove it.
She's the goat.
But she
goat.
is a goat.
That was rude and uncalled for.
That was the joke he was asking for. That's the joke that was promised.
Okay.
That is the joke that was promised.
Cheers, Luke.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and we are now, was it 9 years into Viserys' reign? And yeah, we then jump to our next scene. Does anyone else have anything else on the intro prologue? There's a lot of things we could touch on because it's basically from Aegon the Conqueror till this moment that we could touch on.
I was going to say that they do mention they have 10 dragons at their bay.
Yes. Yeah, there are a lot of dragons, and there are a lot of Targaryens in this realm, in this era as well. So it's a very different thing than what we've grown to be accustomed to in the Game of Thrones after Robert Baratheon, right? Because we were down to 2 Targaryens and then down to 1.
Yes.
With Viserys second.
And just dragon eggs.
And just dragon eggs, which are mentioned in Fire and Blood as well. So
technically 3. By the start of Game of Thrones, we had 3.
Yeah. Yep. There were 3.
Yep.
Oh, you're talking about old Aegon himself.
Yep.
Well, and what about John?
John being Aegon.
Jim.
But then there's Aemon.
Aemon
Targaryen. Sorry. Let's keep going.
Abby,
I am on the facts
you
today.
are the worst first-time watcher ever because
I read it to study it, not to enjoy it, folks.
All right, Benji. So we jump in with a dragon scene, right?
Yep, we do. We have next scene is the next section is Meet the Targaryens. We see a dragon flying and we get introduced to the new heroine, Rhaenyra. Rhaenyra. Thank you. Her friend Alicent and Aemma, the mom. So I'll start this one. It's cool to see the dragon pit in its full glory, because one of the last scenes we saw was the Great Council or whatever being held in the meetings in the dragon pit in season 8 and 7. But it was all destroyed and everything like that. So seeing it in its full glory, I never knew it was supposed to look like that. That's that dome building that they fly to.
Yeah,
so
and it was actually just finished, not terribly within 40 years before this. They had just finished that. It was something that was brought on much later on. After Aegon, and it looks pretty cool, right? And we only saw the broken down version of that, which is neat to see it. And I'm going to go ahead and jump over to Abby because when we first land on the dragon,
I see a man mounted atop a horse, and I thought,
girl, howdy.
Girl, no way. And then it cuts back very quickly, and I was like, no, surely that was. And I hear a man's...
Don't call me Shirley.
My name's not Shirley. And I hear a man's voice, and I was like, oh, Dougal Mackenzie, that is you.
Graham McTavish.
Oh, I love him. I'm so excited. Last time I started watching Game of Thrones, and they're like, pick your guy after episode 1. And I was like, what's his name? Microfinger? And they're like, yes. I was like, he's my guy, I guess. I don't know. Nope. I don't care. I'm going all in. All cards. 2 seconds for my train of thought here. His name is Westerly. Something. Westerly. He's all in.
All right.
Chips on the table.
There it is. She's all in. She's all in. Glenn, who's your man?
My man. I was going to say him, but he's taking
chips on the table. There it is.
A lot of luck.
In general, I thought the dragon flying scene was a great way for them to really open the intro. Right. We're past the prologue now, and we're just saying, this is still Game of Thrones, and we still are really good at fucking dragon stuff.
Oh, we're better at it now.
We're even
these
better at
dragons
it.
Are
It looks great,
1,000
right?
times better than
1,000?
Danny's ever did. Yes.
A
Oh, but there's so
1,000?
much more detail. So much
1,000.
more detail. And the later scene we get with the other dragon, just you can tell there's a difference between the two. You can see the physical. And by season 8, you couldn't tell any of the dragons apart. You know, when they were flying, it didn't fucking matter. Couldn't tell. It did.
Yeah.
You know, these two, they were very distinct.
Maybe
I think this one had like some horns and stuff that made it different than the other ones.
It's Cyrax. Is who
Cyrax.
that dragon is.
Cyrax.
you got another
Yes.
name too at some point.
Caraxes.
Episodes. Yeah.
Cyraxus is
It's a different one, right?
a different dragon.
But I'm saying we got. I
Yes.
think we only got 2 names of dragons.
That's
like that we
Daemon's dragon.
Saw.
But there
It's
you
Daemon's
could
dragon.
tell them apart. I
Allison
think.
mentions it in this episode, like
Yeah.
in this
Yeah.
scene. So that's why I'm
Yeah.
okay bringing it up.
Okay.
She mentions.
Yeah, he's gonna be as big as
getting
Cyraxus.
As big as, yeah.
And in the
Cyraxus.
episode, we actually don't even know
Cyraxus
that
is gonna
Cyraxus is Daemon's dragon. I'm just
be
saying
until the
that.
end.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
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 I also didn't know that dragons smelled.
You smell a dragon.
Well, it's like a fish or
Yeah.
something. You can catch a fish and then like you're taking it off the hook or whatever.
or if you go to,
So dragons
you
smell
get-
like fish?
Scales.
they got scales.
That is
It's
the
a
only
scale.
qualifying factor. Okay.
Who else has scales?
I mean,
Dragons are fish.
Musicians.
We all know
Old
this.
Greg.
armadillos.
I'm old Greg. Have you ever drank Bailey's from an old boot, Abby? That's what I want to know. There you go.
I've drank
Anyway.
a lot of things from Boots. I worked at Texas Roadhouse. So,
So while we're meandering through this discussion of Meet the Targaryens, who are some of these other Targaryens that we meet? We meet Rhaenyra, right? That's the first one that we really meet. We were kind of
Aemma.
joking around.
And they made
and
sure
then-
that you knew her fucking name.
yeah.
Her mom says her name in the scene 3 times within 1 minute. And it's a way to tell you she's gonna be important. Remember this name. She's not Khaleesi or
Well, I
The
appreciate
other
when I
one-
get the correct spelling of it off the captions. I was happy for that.
The other one that we spent a lot of time learning their name is Alicent
Alicent.
Hightower,
else.
right?
Yes.
That's kind of her BFF forever. That's
That's what it's being
Allison,
coded as.
Allison Chains.
Alicent in chains.
I
is-
feel like that is very probably going to happen at some point.
Okay,
That's all I can
we'll,
do.
we'll revisit that as we go along. But so far, that's gonna be her Drinks and Those Things nickname is Alicent in
Allison
chains.
James. There we go.
And right, she was very prominently featured throughout this first section, and later on as well as as we moved on. But the first thing that we found out was they are best friends, right? Like
Yeah.
they spent a lot of time together, and Rhaenyra, it almost seems like she's a bit sapphic for her. She's almost showing some feelings, like romantic
Oh,
feelings towards
yeah.
Alicent. Was that just me picking
Oh,
that up?
no.
Okay.
Yeah, they would
like-
eat cake and stuff.
Yeah, that seems a
It-
little bit later, but yeah, like
it-
even right now, all I want to do, I want to get you up on that dragon with me. Like she's saying,
Yeah.
I want to take you fucking flying.
And cake.
Like that sounds like a date. Like I want to take you on a date to me.
I just.
And- I never jest about cake, Glenn. Okay. Fuck the SEPTA. Benj, what are your thoughts on our first intro into Alicent Hightower?
So I thought she I thought she was just I don't know, I don't want to say interesting. She was just a there character kind of in that first scene, kind of thing. But they made sure you knew who she was. So again, you're gonna know she's important. You know, it's somebody you're gonna have to keep an eye on. She seemed very sweet, but very. I almost got an Arya Sansa dynamic between the two.
I
in
agree.
that
I
very
can see
first-
that.
Really?
I can see some
Oh, no,
similarities.
in that first one, you're right.
I
Never
can
mind.
see. I can see
Yes.
there are some attitude things of one wants to be adventurous and one doesn't.
One wants to be a lady. Yeah, one
Right.
wants to be adventurous. One wants to be a lady, and
Mhm.
Yeah.
very polar.
There,
like
there
that.
is a similar
Since-
dynamic to some
I
extent.
could see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I have learned since in the main source material that the age differences are a bit skewed. They're not as close.
Yes.
As,
Another,
Yeah.
that's a good thing to point out. Our overall timeline is not exactly what you're going to read in Fire and Blood. So whenever Abby you get there, just know it's a little bit different.
That's okay.
Overall timeline on like the lineage overall is there, but there are some things that we're not going to see all of Fire and Blood within this show, is what it's seeming like.
Yeah.
They're consolidating a few things to show things that had happened. We got a big scene later on that I'm going to bring another point up that's very much in this vein. But in general, there's going to be some things that don't happen within this exact Fire and Blood book storyline that they're going to work in, is what it seems like. And so far, none of them have hurt the overall arc at all. Because everyone knows where it's going to get to. Like, the overall end-all be-all is very obvious where it gets to.
Like, literally, George has come out before the show even started. This is where we start. This is where we're ending in the first season. So there's no spoilers of where they're working towards. George has already come out and said it. So it's like, okay, cool.
Glenda?
You know, kind of thing.
I was going to, so when Viserys is being named king, right?
Mm-hmm.
They show his wife was Aemma.
Aemma, yep.
That's her name. She's pregnant there. So then they're
Aemma
saying
Aaron is
Aaron.
originally, yeah.
So then they're saying this is 9 years after that.
Right.
So would she be 9?
That
right?
Like that alone was like
Or you're saying like in the
Benji,
book-
you have
But
something on
she
that?
does
Because
say that she's had miscarriages and stillbirths.
She's had four lost children in so many years. So it's possible that
I
could have
believe
been
it's
one of
5.
her-
somebody else. Okay.
Yeah,
But
like five,
either
five
way-
in twice as many years. So in 10 years, she's
Mhm.
lost 5 children.
Yeah.
So 10 years ago, she could have lost her first one, which would have been who
I
she was
know,
pregnant
No.
with.
that's not really the point. It's more of
Oh,
they were pregnant together when he was crowned.
Like, is that supposed to be
Is
her?
that supposed to be Rhaenyra? Or
I don't
that's what
think
I'm getting
so.
to.
I don't think so.
Could
I
be
think she would be
Rhaenyra.
I think
older.
Rhaenyra was already born.
Yes.
Okay.
that would have to be. She
Yeah.
would have to be at least
Yeah, I mean,
5 at that point.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because
Yeah.
I think she's supposed to be about 14, 15
Okay.
as
Yeah.
young Rhaenyra. I think
Yes.
moving forward, there's going to be
Old Rhaenyra.
an age jump here soon as well.
Yeah.
But
if you IMDb it, there is young and old.
if
young
you
and
just
adolescent.
if you just watch the HBO
Yeah.
provided
Allison?
things, it
I
says
can't wait for
young
her.
Rhaenyra.
Oh,
Yeah.
let's get.
Take
Which
your
I
ready
don't like,
player.
'cause I
Get,
actually
get
like
ready
this.
somewhere else, player one.
No
Okay.
way.
Get
And,
ready
like, that
somewhere.
voice you hear in the prologue
Is-
old Rhaenyra.
Yeah.
Is the actress
Oh.
portraying old Rhaenyra? That's
Yeah.
her voice. But I actually like this young Rhaenyra actress. So I hope, like, even with the jump
I
time,
hope they do
we get-
jump somehow back and forth because I think she's done a really wonderful job so far.
Yes.
I mean,
I'm a big fan.
yeah. So,
So
anything
going to Aemma
else?
really quick.
Yeah,
Going
yeah,
to
go
Aemma.
ahead.
You know, for that actress, this first scene, great introduction. She kills the mentality of just the softness of a mother and everything. I think really sold, her role very well for the limited time she had. So I just wanted to give her credit. Every scene she was in this episode killed it. Probably one of the best actors in the whole show, and that's saying something. For the limited screen time she had.
I agree.
So, all right.
Abby, anything else?
No.
So, meeting the Targaryens, who else do we meet? We meet.
That's it in that scene.
Okay. I wasn't sure
yeah, then-
because you did the scene
Yeah.
breakdown, so I don't know
did.
how far you're
So
going.
it
with
was just that. It was just that scene because then we jumped to ring around the council table.
Okay. Yeah.
And yeah. So now we meet the other Targaryens. We meet the king and his council as they discuss raiders and the stepstones and the tournament for the new heir. That motherfucker Daemon is found lounging on the Iron Throne, and he's kind to our princess. So now we meet the other Targaryens.
Glendog.
So I thought it was funny this scene. So, like they start talking or whatever, and I don't know. I think Viserys he seems like kind of an idiot sometimes, or just like some things are kind of important to him, some things are not. But like it's just like, what should we talk about? Crab feeder? No Daemon, at the seat. Nah.
How about the
The Heirs
parade?
tournament?
I would be
You
delighted.
bet your
I
ass.
would
Let's
be
talk about
I died.
like it's just like okay, like I think a lot of this stuff is important and like should have merit, but it just seems like it gets put to the side. Like, and I think what's his Valerian?
Corlys Valerian.
Valerian. He's talking about crab feeder. Where, I think he
He's kind of like
calls it a pirate infestation or something.
there's like a real issue going on that we should probably give a
Right.
shit about.
And
He's
it
like,
kinda
let's
gets-
talk about the
He's
parade.
trying to like bring it up a couple different times, and then I think
Otto Hightower.
Hightower
He goes,
just kind of like,
we heard ya.
we're dealing with it, I guess. Or
We're taking it
I mean,
under
he's the
advisement.
master of ships. So he's the master of ships, so he has to worry about the pirates and the ways into the area, through the stepstones and all that. He and I will give credit. I believe it was Tony Teflon. I saw posted a meme, but like shout out to Corley's. No one, as a black man, don't get drunk with the white folk. As he covers his drink. It was like
Yeah, he's like,
Oh.
guys, nope.
because he's the only one taking the shit seriously, though.
That's
and it's like,
absolutely true, I
Yep.
think, for sure.
yeah. So it's definitely
And-
something to keep an eye on.
And like the Grand Maester that's there, it kind of goes along with the king, right?
Say,
Just a little bit, a lick spittle
Mellows
is
or
what
something
you,
like that.
No.
Malus, yeah. And basically they're all just kind of fawning over Viserys, who's not really doing much, right? It's a bit like Robert without anyone checking him right now, is what it seems like. Robert Baratheon,
Well, the thing is-
where he's just doing the things that he wants, but it's also not so much where it's like, let's just have a party and just have a party. He seems very wishy-washy.
I feel like
Viserys himself.
the council
He's
is
also a king.
just
And
as
he's a
grimy
peacetime
as
king.
You think his
council,
small council
is just as grimy because they're allowing him to behave like that. They're
because
not
it
pushing it
benefits
because
them.
it benefits them. They're like, yes, okay, the parade, great, and we will just continue doing whatever we want
Yeah,
because
Yeah.
you're not checking us.
no, he's
And you don't want it to
And- and
become
the-
a problem because once it becomes a problem, then that's when he gets pissed off and is at your throat. Like, why
And-
the hell did you not tell me about this?
And we know that
I've been telling you.
Targaryens, when they get pissed off, it's not good for the other person.
They all pissy splash.
Pissy splash. Here's the pissy
There's a
splash.
pissy splash.
But the thing is with Viserys, and even to his father, or to his brother or whatever, Jaehaerys, they've had 60 years apiece, something like that. Haven't had really any concerns, so they're like, oh yeah, the stepstones, oh no big deal, because it'll
Right,
just work
They got to
itself
step
out
up the
because
stones.
they haven't had to deal with the problems. They haven't had to,
they
because everybody fears the dragons.
That growing up in peacetime will not create a great leader necessarily because you've never had to learn how to work through conflict, right? Like
Exactly.
he doesn't know what conflict is because he literally is never been there.
It'll be fine. It'll be fine.
A shit'll buff.
It'll be fine.
A shit'll
It'll be
buff.
fine.
It's fine.
I have a question.
We have fucking dragons. It's gonna be
Right.
fine.
The dragon. I'm the dragon. Oh man. So, is it common that like your princess, your child, is your cupbearer?
Yeah.
Is that common? I've never seen it before, and I'm not saying I don't know, but I feel like that is really fucked up.
Can you name
I mean-
two other cupbearers?
Arya.
Okay, you named the one that I
And-
can think of.
No, the other no. What's his name that ends up getting killed because he fucked Cersei? He
Jimmy
was
Cutler.
the cousin,
Oh,
Lannister cousin.
Lancel.
Lancel. There we go.
I
Yeah.
was thinking Ollie.
There we
He'd
go.
Fuck Ollie. He was a cup.
Ollie was, yeah, I guess you'd call him a cupbearer. He wasn't named a cupbearer.
Mama's-
And I mean,
No,
like, I think at least it's nice enough.
allowed in on
Num num time.
councils and
Yeah, and nice enough that she's allowed in on the councils, like, which is fine. But that's like a job with nowhere to go. Because again, sucks to be a girl.
see, and I think it was more of a
But
plan because again,
He
the
had no
Targaryens
plan.
marry-
Fuck that. He had
Well,
no plan
hang
for
on,
her.
hang
Nope.
on. True.
Nope. Sorry. Go
Not
ahead.
entirely, but Targaryens married their siblings. That he always planned or knew he would have a son, so the plan would be
How'd
to
that work
marry.
out for you,
and then-
fucker?
I understand,
Sorry, bitch.
but
Keep
That
your
way he
spite
has
in
a
your pants
trained-
for a little bit, Abby.
he has a. I'm not disagreeing with you, but then he has someone who has
Also,
sat in on
fuck
councils
Ollie.
and knows how to, run shit or do shit. Who's learned that could then help guide her husband / brother in the kingdom, in
Yeah.
the realm.
Right.
because
So you
he
can
saw
do
his-
the
her
work, you just can't have the
intelligence.
glory. Okay, cool.
Yes.
I
You know,
love
and
being a
I'm just-
consolation prize. It's so cool. Thank you.
We're getting to this.
We're working our
conversation
way
next.
there, Abby. We're not
We're
there
getting to
yet.
this conversation
I know.
next, but
I know.
I need a
Let's
drink.
talk-
Keep,
let's
keep
talk
your
about
spite in
Daemon.
your pants.
Oh yeah, let's talk
let's
about
talk-
that grooming piece of shit. I have to get a drink.
Good grief. Great start.
so it was a good introduction to Damon. I thought, she gets
Jeez.
word that he's in the throne room, walks in, and she's out. Abby's gone. It's like fuck this. But get an introduction to Damon. He's sitting on the fucking Iron Throne. That takes some balls.
Yeah, I mean, and old Graham McTavish, I don't know his name. She said it was something like,
Harold Westerling.
is it Westerling?
Yeah, or
Westerling,
something like
yeah.
that.
And he's part of the King's Guard, is what it looks like, right? And so he's almost like her personal guard to some extent. And again, anyone in the chat, tell us when we're wrong because we are not experts.
Jimmy Westerling.
No.
It's Tim Westfall.
He's definitely
Um,
Westerly.
So Jim Westerling, you don't mess around with Jim Westerling, Croce. But they walk into the throne room and he goes, by the fucking gods, like he's like, holy shit, why is he sitting on the Iron Throne? And Rhaenyra just says, it's fine, like I'm gonna go talk to him.
It's all good.
It's all good.
Yeah.
He means nothing by it. He's harmless, right? And Phil H, I am always wrong. I know this. I know this, and I love you.
So, you know with your point.
But she walks up to him, and she walks up to Daemon, and just turns the tide on. Like, where have you been? You know, like we. Go ahead.
Where do you go? Where are you going?
Stop right now. I'll mute you.
I'm muted, ladies and gentlemen. No, but this is the first time we see the throne room. Did you maybe?
Go ahead.
Oh, we see the throne room, and it's quite a bit different from like the Game of Thrones one. There's like a shit ton of swords,
Like up the
either
stairs.
yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah. Closer to the actual, like, what we get the description of.
Right. So the conversation between the two of those people, Daemon and Rhaenyra, is a bit in. He brings her a gift, right? And it's a Valyrian necklace. And, all right.
Flag number 1.
Right. It's a. And it seems pretty
Sketch.
sexually driven to some extent, right? I mean, they seem like they have a relationship that is more than just uncle and niece. Benji, any thoughts on that?
No, you're not wrong, but
I'm
again,
not. You're right.
Look at the history of the family. It's not out of the realm of ickiness in the context of what their family does.
I will just throw again the disclaimer. Overall, in general, Targaryens fall under the rule of exceptionalism. They can fuck each other all day, and apparently that's cool. So by nature of the show, we just have to get over the incestual side of it, which we did for Game of Thrones as well. That's ever present within this, and we just have to do it.
Still kind of fucked.
Yes, absolutely.
Especially if she's 9 and not 14.
Yeah.
If she is
9 and not 18. Let's go there.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Sorry. My biggest problem with all of this, again, started reading this book today, and they talk,
Fire de la Blood.
Yes, and they talk about how even once they come of power, that religion and stuff, they didn't like go against them. They brought them in. They supported them. But even, I can't think, what are they called? Like the Sept, the whatever.
Septos. Just the new guys?
Just the
what are we talking about?
fucking
The
people
sparrows.
do the fucking religion shit. I don't know. Sorry, that's the best explanation I can
Priests.
give up. Yeah, they really had a problem with him having 2 wives, them marrying their sisters, but definitely like the 2 wives thing. And this brings me back to, they can do whatever the fuck they want, but he can't have a female heir. I'm over it. I'm over it. Sorry.
Your ovaries?
I'm
Sorry, I couldn't hear
over
you.
easy, like eggs.
Over easy. Yeah.
Like, they can do whatever they want. So,
Why not just
do what you want,
yeah
if that's what you want.
Rewrite the rules.
create the rules?
We made
They
the
make
rules.
the rules. They have dragons. We have dragons. We're not even worried about things.
I think you're gonna find out that's a really, really big theme throughout this
I know.
series
I
and
know.
in general.
I'm already fired. I'm going to try to settle it down over here. We'll see.
Drink. to forget.
Shit, it won't help. It won't help me.
If you want to be muted, I know a good way to be
Hey,
muted.
number 4 over there, Glenn. Hit it up.
I'm running down a dream.
Nope. No, you're not. No, you're not. Anyway, so again, there's some things going on in this throne room scene, right? Are we just talking about the throne room scene still? That's the only thing that we're talking about right now. And
The throne looks awesome.
it does look pretty cool. I think they did a better job of selling the way it was described in the main source material a little bit. And the way it was described in the source material was a bit ridiculous, but they at least made an attempt that it wasn't just like, okay, and then 60 swords made up the chair.
It's not 80 foot tall.
Right, and the way the book describes it is absolutely fucking ridiculous.
That's what I'm saying.
Just like a bunch of
absolutely
toothpicks.
insane. And this is a better attempt at making something that is a bit more practical, and you can see it lines the stairs and they're everywhere. So
I think it looks scarier, like more imposing. Which I think is the point.
It does. And the chair itself looks more insidious. Like it looks
good word.
Yeah.
Wow.
Thank you.
$15 worth. How much?
$15 word.
Yeah.
How much did you pay for that
And
one?
actually, I meant insidious.
I know. Darth Sidious is what you're
yeah.
trying to talk about. I know.
No, insidious. But like it just looks sharper. It looks more. The other one looked like kind of a comfy chair with a couple points. This one, you see the blades kind of at a sharp angle, even later on when we get the cut and everything like that. But
I was gonna say we actually get it being a character to some extent as we move forward in the episode. So let's go ahead and move on to our next scene here.
So we dubbed this Family Blood and Bath. Rhaenyra and Alicent chat about history, her sibling, and their positions. Viserys has a legion on his back and just won't go away. And Aemma soaks and proclaims her shop is done for good.
All right, so we're starting to cover a lot of scenes now, and this is where we have Rhaenyra laying on Alicent's lap, and they're talking about cake. Glenn, please take it away.
So basically, they're talking about different cakes, and carrot cake. They're talking about.
Whoa!
German
is there
chocolate.
an Ice and Fire Con reference? Because you don't like carrot cake unless you're at Ice and Fire Con. It's a whole thing.
Well, that was a shot that we had.
Anyway, yeah.
That was good.
Do you like Warren Zevon?
Name another song outside of Werewolves in London.
The Lawyers one.
Anyways, what were we talking about?
Rhaenyra laying on and cake. Rhaenyra laying on Alicent's lap.
So
talking about cake.
it's. I think what we were talking about earlier is like, Alicent is more we need to study our notes. We need to make sure we know all this shit. And Rhaenyra's really not taking it serious, and she's like, okay, who did so and so marry? A man.
Some guy.
And
Don't worry about it.
Just like
Who cares?
one word answers like that, then and then like at the end she calls her out, and then she's like, she basically, like she knows everything.
She already knows the answer, and she's like, I'm not wasting my time studying this because you don't know it.
Right, but she's just kind of like, I want to do my own thing. Like I don't give a shit about studying.
I want to fly with you on a dragon. I want to do these other things that I give a shit about, and I want to eat cake.
I think
And
it
then-
also speaks highly of her because she's not out to prove her knowledge or look at me. I'm like,
She did her homework.
I found it
and the
very endearing. Like not even endearing. Like that's not even the right word. Like impressive because she could easily just go out, here, I know all these things. Endearing is absolutely the wrong word. The right word is she's holding things back.
She's
for power
not
moves. Like,
showing every.
She's not going to show her cards. Yes.
Yeah.
Like,
She's being Glenn.
hey,
Excuse me.
So the
Good
key
thing.
thing with this scene, though, the big key takeaway is when Alicent starts bringing up aren't you jealous of your father and of your soon-to-be brother and all
Right.
this?
Are you
and
not worried about your
Rhaenyra's like,
position?
Yeah, and she's like, I like my position. Talking about where she's laying again, going back to that,
There's a bit of a romantic, sexual tension
but
on that comment.
Also, she brings up, she's like, I don't care about that. I want to adventure. I want to see the world. I want to ride my dragon. and you,
Cake.
and you know, and so it's a big. That's the key scene that Abby you were talking about. Of it's unfair to her because it's really not because she never
Take it
thought
back.
she'd have. No, I mean, but what I'm saying is she never even considered that it's her position to be the heir.
Yeah.
And so it was never. And is that fair? But on her end,
No, I
it's
get that
completely
is the
fair.
realm or the world that we're living in. I understand that. But
whether it's right is a totally different
yes,
thing.
whether it's right or wrong.
No, and
But
I
so
agree.
heavily in this episode is just this overarching, the I'm
trying to speak, Gertie. Hold on.
I have the word that I want because Melissa sent it to me earlier today.
Melissa speaks.
Melissa-
Yeah,
too.
Melissa does
pays for
too.
her words, probably.
How undervalued women
Yes.
are. Like, and I get that I am living in a realm and I'm fighting for things that whenever this was set, that's just the way it was. The problem is that there's so many overarching things that I think we'd be very tone deaf to not mention that this also is very prevalent in our American culture. Like, that is, like, why I'm so hot has nothing to do with necessarily Game of Thrones. It's just always.
And we
are just the consolation prize. Continually watch TikTok and watch a dad get his gender reveal and be like, oh, it's a girl. I'm tired of it.
Boo.
Yeah. And it's not
So,
you, it's not anything.
One thing
So,
that we did
again,
skip over. Go ahead, Abby. I'm sorry.
like,
Go ahead.
I get it. I love the show. I love that I was so angry watching it because they made me. That was their intention, was to make people like, yeah, this really fucking sucks. So thank you. Like it does.
That is the job that they're doing.
They're doing a good job at that.
And we did skip over the scene where she finds out. Well, we find out as the audience that Emma is pregnant when the mom is in the bath. We didn't really
I think
talk
that's
about
right
that
now,
scene.
though.
We haven't gotten to that yet.
We're,
Oh,
right,
that's
we're
right
coming,
now.
we're
That's
coming
right
up
now.
to it right
Okay.
now.
We're getting there.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
and
Yep.
I just have one comment now. What I'm getting to with Rhaenyra, the big thing is again, it's an harken back to an Arya style character where even if she had the rightful claim, she wouldn't be interested in
Do
it.
you think she would
Unlike
do the
Rhaenyra's-
whole, that's not me?
What I'm saying is like, unlike Rhaenyra's, kind of, like Rhaenyra's thought she had a rightful claim and she put herself forward. Rhaenyra never looked at it as I have a rightful claim. I don't even need to because that's not what I want to do. I'm not.
I guess I
meant to
don't
do
know
that.
her well enough yet to have that feeling on her. And
And that's fair. And that's my only point with her and in this scene is
what's her name?
why it's even
Rhaenyra's?
more
Rhaenyra.
Rhaenyra's.
No,
The
Rhaenyra's
Rhaenys.
Rhaenys definitely
sorry.
doesn't give me that vibe. She gives me
aunt,
the like.
Corley's Valerian's wife. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I'm gonna maybe hold back judgment because she could be
We
like,
haven't
look,
seen a lot from her.
no, not
No.
from.
Even this episode, we haven't seen a lot.
I'm saying from Rhaenyra, I'm gonna hold back judgment because maybe she would be like, look, I want nothing to do with this. Like, I literally just want to ride a dragon and be wild and free.
And eat cake.
Girl,
I
do your
never
thing.
jest
'Cause
about cake.
And
I don't want to be in charge either.
I don't
so-
think she was told her whole life, like, you're going to be an heir or anything.
No,
like
she was
that.
told her whole life, you're not. I wish you were a
Right.
boy.
Exactly. No, and so it's still unfair to her from our perspective, but from her, she's like, I don't really give a shit until the end when it's like, oh shit, okay, kind of thing. So that was my whole point with that and this conversation between the two. It's nice to get some insight into her of not giving a shit because she wants to do what she can do, but she has the knowledge to do everything. It's that was the whole ploy, the holding her cards, and then she's like, fuck it, I know this shit. And I know all the different shit from being a cupbearer to my father. And
I mean, we all know that Rhaenyra is a cake sniffer, but that's a different book series.
I get that.
Yeah, thank you, and
Damn cake sniffers.
freaking cake sniffers. All right, so
Can I go to the bath?
let's move past Alicent and Rhaenyra, and we do have the quick scene with Viserys with the legion on his back, right? I mean,
Yes.
and he says it was a small cut
Yes.
from the throne.
Yes.
And one thing that we've always known is the throne, if at least I should say we always known, but it really didn't come up in Game of Thrones much. But if you get cut by those swords, it's sometimes viewed as the throne saying that you're not worthy.
Get the fuck off of me.
Yeah.
It's kind of saying if you can't sit here and not fucking be an idiot, like you'll be fine.
Not OSHA approved.
It's
There was one
it's
cake
really
killer,
not
wasn't
OSHA
there?
approved. What'd you
I
say,
don't
Ben?
remember which one, but there was a king killed by the throne, correct, in the Targaryen history.
I'm going to go ahead and say that we might not be there yet.
Okay, I'm just saying somewhere in the
There is a yeah, we're
not
not
a spoiler.
it's in the
just somewhere
future
in the 300
potentially.
years.
Yes,
That's all I was saying.
there is
Okay.
the rumor that it was potentially
Mhm.
the throne that did it.
That's definitely.
Yes. Yeah.
Fair.
So
All right. Anything with the Legion scene, guys?
Yeah, I just am really happy to see that the Maesters are as useless as ever. Oh, Jiminy Ho,
It's
great
gotten
idea. I do
bigger.
think you, in fact, should have it lanced, or you should have it cauterized. Like,
Cauterized.
what? I don't understand them at all. Like, I think it is such a pompous and puffed up. Like, man sounds like a moron already. Like, and he's like, it might hurt. He's a Targaryen. What part of burning him is supposed to hurt? Like, I don't know.
they
It could
also
be one
burned
of
their
those
dead.
$15 words where, cauterize, like, Viserys doesn't know what that means probably. He's like, yeah, let's just cauterize him. Like, basically, he's probably just fucked. And let's just make up terms and be like, oh, there may be something we can do to give you hope, but really, like, this is not good.
I think it's a fair point for sure. They're kind of just saying this. We know what cauterizes. I also wanted to see how many times Glenn can work in the term $15 word into this episode.
Hey,
but
we got some time.
we got plenty of time.
No.
I'm a big fan of it, but I think you could be onto something where they're just saying we have to do
$15.
something different, and we're going to spend $15 on materials to try something
Trying to
different.
figure out a word to
To try to
explain.
figure out a way to confuse you and make you want to do something that you don't know about. But I don't know. I think it's an interesting. It's more of. I think it's really when it comes down to it, it's a way of showing that the throne is not agreeing that Viserys is doing a good job.
But is it grayscale?
No,
No.
Okay.
I don't think that's
It
in the
took like
cards
a
at all right
swap.
now.
Okay, that's what I
No,
did that.
I think it was just an infected cut because he was sitting on there, and the throne is saying that he's unworthy. He's not really doing the things that's best for the realm. He's not being old penis man without a penis man. Varies.
Old penis man. You remember old penis man?
I don't know him. I'm sorry.
Old penisless.
Nor do I want to know him.
Penisless man.
Penis man.
Penisless man. He's because Varys was always the man for the realm, right? And I don't know. I believed that. I still do. I think Varys was always the voice of the people, and right now I think the throne, being a character in itself, is saying, Viserys, you're not really doing the things that matter. You're ignoring the things of the stepstones. You're ignoring Daemon, which we're going to get to, causing trouble all over the fucking town. And it's not really good for anyone but you right now. And that's what I think that scene is supposed to show. It's kind of setting a tone for, as we move forward, it's more than just us deciding that maybe he's not fit for the job. And he doesn't think that he was fit for the job to start with. Like you mentioned, he kind of, when he was first named at the Great Council, he had that, I'll do it, but
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know that I'm, like, I saw hesitation in those eyes.
Yes, I don't know.
To some extent. And
Okay.
And
And-
he who hesitates is lost.
absolutely, Captain Wittershins, thank you so much for being here. And thank you for referencing the exact same thing that I was referencing a minute ago. You nailed it.
Yep.
I know you did. All right, so I got nothing else on the laceration. It's interesting to see the Maesters are still kind of dipsy doodle dipshits a little bit.
Most of
Right.
them. Not all of them. There's
Not
some
all
good
of them.
ones,
Not
but
all of them.
few and far between.
Yeah. So
They're
now
just
we're in
finding
the
them how to
bath.
kill all the dragons.
Now we're in the bath.
Hey,
Scene.
when all
Yep.
else fails,
Take a
take
bath.
a bath. That
Take a bath.
is like life lessons from Gertie right there.
Dude,
So I'm
you ain't
with her.
wrong. I mean,
Hey,
the closest I ever came were a few stones coming
That's-
through. Only thing that fucking helped
Get
was
in
that
the
fucking
bath. yes.
Yep.
Broke my foot, got in the bath. Actually, it was a pool. We could talk about that later. However, there was a Baywatch babe incident that happened.
Branson, Missouri.
Branson, Missouri.
Gertrude as a Baywatch babe.
1996.
Something like that.
Somewhere
Probably.
around there. 96 to 98 era.
Everybody, avert your attention to me while I break my foot as I announce I'm a Baywatch babe.
Hey,
It was
look,
fine.
I'm a Baywatch babe.
It was
Broken ankle.
It was awesome.
Great. Just as you'd scripted on Baywatch.
Yep.
But she did not. Oh, well, we're not going there. Never mind. Anyway, go ahead, Abby.
Like I feel like, come on, bro. Like, why does a guy always have a comment? Oh, you spend more time in the bath than I do on the Iron Throne. So fucking what? What are you doing?
Dress on the throne.
What are you doing then? Like, I'm in here having a kid, building it, creating it.
No, but they had the kid, Abby. You know,
they were pregnant.
They
That's
were
fine.
pregnant.
Fair.
Okay.
Fair. That's fair. But like, and I get that. I do feel like he is a caring husband and that he is fond of his wife. But he is such a clueless man. It's disgusting.
But that's totally fair. That's totally fair. Does he show up as a loving husband?
He thinks he does.
He's portraying.
He thinks that he does because he does love her. But his actions, the way he speaks to her, really his actions were coming upon it. Like, no, not it. It's not even bare minimum. Like, he thinks he's a good husband.
And he thinks that he's totally in love with her.
He thinks he's a good husband. He thinks he's a good king and all this stuff. Like, he's just kind of a dunce.
Yeah.
Get him a hat.
He's a dame.
A dame.
We'll come back to that. Yeah, I think that's fair, Abby. Like, it seems like he believes he's trying to be a good husband. And that's kind of what sucks is because he doesn't know.
No.
He doesn't know that he's a fucking idiot.
No.
Right? He's a bit oblivious to some extent. And what he's doing is he's trying to be sweet. It comes across as him showing romance.
Yeah. Like,
but you're missing a few steps. You're missing a few steps, right? Like,
yeah. One thing I will give him credit for, though, when she drops the hammer of, I've lost 5 in twice as many years.
And this is the last one.
This is the last one. I'm done after this. He doesn't bat an eye. I watched it today. Like, I've watched the episode 3 times, and I watched it today with my wife. And he doesn't bat an eye. I was thinking, okay, he probably would have like given her like kind of a, kind of stern look or like concern. Doesn't even. He takes it right in stride, and he accepts her position in that moment.
That's fair.
And so I give him credit for being that way, for taking that, because he was so sure that it was a son. He's like, that's fine, Yeah,
so we could argue that point. Like, well, it was only because he thought he had a son, but no, he didn't give her any grief about her statement. Like, and I felt like he would have maybe respected it, possibly. I don't know. We'll never know. But that line right there when she said, like, this is the last time. I don't know the actress's name. It was like delivered with such weight that you could just tell, like, she was crushing, being like just crushed under the pressure and the emotional toll that this has taken on her, and probably the physical toll too. But like we've already said, that actress was phenomenal. I really liked her.
Emma.
She was awesome.
Yeah.
Cyan Brooke. Just looked it up.
Cool,
yeah,
thanks.
Not a problem. Because as I said in the previous scene, every scene she was in, it was just excellently done. You're right. That's power. She just had power, and she's like, nope, I'm done. And you could tell the heartbreak because she doesn't want to be at this point.
Well, she even says, I'm sorry. Like, I'm sorry. Yeah. Like, if this isn't a boy or whatever, I'm sorry. Like, she truly feels like she's at fault, or at least some fault in, like, I wasn't able to do it. You can tell that there's
a discrepancy between being the woman and the husband to some extent, right?
Sure,
but there's also the disparity of being not a Targaryen.
Yeah. Well, she's a Targaryen.
She's not.
Yes, she
she's
is.
an Aaron.
No, she's a Targaryen. She
She's
has
from
Targaryen blood.
She's
Guaranteed.
from House Aaron.
I know, but she has Targaryen blood through a cousin, through a something. I can't get there.
Just saying, but she's from House Aaron.
Chat, tell him I'm right. Sorry.
Regardless, the one thing that we did skip over, I mentioned the bath scene that we got to now, but when Rhaenyra first talks to her mother, in basically early on, we skipped over that scene. That's what I was talking about. That wasn't in the bath. That was just her talking to her mom, and Rhaenyra's talking about, this is even before Rhaenyra laying on Alicent's lap thing, and she brings up, I would rather be a warrior out there fighting, and Emma brings up our battlefield as a mother is the birthing bed, and I think that's a big part of this episode, right? And we're going to get to that, and I think that's one of those ingrained things in the society that Rhaenyra is just saying, that's not for me.
Yeah.
It's almost Arya Targaryen.
Oh my!
Oh wow!
Arya Targaryen.
$50 name right there.
Sorry, I wasn't trying to. I wasn't trying to throw out this new theory, but I've been working on this for the past 3.5 years. Arya Targaryen. Here it is. No, but like I think Arya was always, that's not me, right? And I think we're supposed to kind of connect some of those things that Rhaenyra is doing with how we viewed Arya when she was younger. She's not someone just to go with the tide because that's the fucking normal way to do it. She's a game changer. Yeah. She's someone that doesn't believe that we are going to do this just because that's the way it's always been done. Mm-hmm. She's here to disrupt. She's a disruptor. And I just wanted to point that scene out because we skipped over that. And now that we were talking about Emma, I want to bring that up because it was Emma that kind of forced her into that mentality in that point. So we can come back to the bath scene now as well.
Okay, yeah, I was going to say, like, with Viz, like, he's definitely counting his chickens before they hatch, because he's, like, telling her, like, oh, we're going to have this tournament for the heir and, like, all this stuff or whatever. All these people are coming in. And she's like, whoa, wait a second. Like, first of all, the baby's not even born yet, and like we don't even know if it's a boy or not. And he's like, well, I had a vision, so it is.
Clearly.
Duh.
She's like, we can't grow dicks that aren't already there. Okay.
Right.
I don't know what the line is, but it's
I think she's kind of like, why are you trying to do all this stuff, plan all this stuff, and we don't even know a whole lot of stuff yet.
Yeah, he's really hanging his hat on, it's a boy.
That's fine.
It's all good.
Also, with the tournament, like he's planning
good,
this.
Man. It's all good.
Like his what he wants to happen is like the baby gets birthed during the tournament, so he can like raise it up. Like, hey, look at the heir.
Simba?
Yeah, exactly. Like
that is what he wants. He wants his Simba moment.
That's what he wants to happen.
Pink pajamas, penguins on the bottom. Pink pajamas, penguins on the bottom. Pink pajamas, penguins. The circle.
And he's like, it's just based because of his vision that this is. He's like, well, I had this vision, so that's what's gonna happen.
All right. Very, very rarely do I reference the chat, but Mikey Too Hard counting his dicks before they're hatched. Thank you. Cheers.
Yeah.
You guys talk a lot while I'm out of the room. I'll be back.
Oh, perfect. I don't know what we're talking about right now. I do, but.
So I mean, it's a good scene. I like it because you do see, like you said, I mean, he tries to be a good, caring husband.
I truly believe that he loves her and he is supporting her because that's his wife, and he really is just going all out because he loves her. The thing is, he's really shitty at he is just oblivious and ignorant to what love and understanding and compassion
I want to know what lunch is.
Yep. I want you to make it for me.
I want you to make it.
All right. we're gonna move on to the next scene
Fuck
unless
you,
anybody's
Phil.
got anything else.
He said, "Damn, he's back already."
So, all right, next episode.
Next
is
episode, we're
See you next week.
Law and Order, King's Landing, street crimes. So we have Damon leads his city watch, which have some brand new spanking looking some gold cloaks
some
looking
cloaks.
things.
Yeah.
You know, and they clean up the riff and the raff of King's Landing, not just the riff, but the raff as well. Viserys is unpleased with his methods, and the prince defends his actions, then tries to get some stress relief.
Ooh.
So
Yeah.
we have another 3-scener kind of thing. The first one's a bit longer, the other two aren't so much. But I honestly think Damon's acting in good faith here. Are his methods a bit extreme? Sure. But for the time period and the thing, the laws are set. These are the actions that are found if you're, to have committed these crimes. These are the punishments that have been ruled out to be dealt out.
Do you know that for sure?
Yes.
That's what I wondered. Like,
But
what
they were
are
so
these people's
specifically
crimes?
done.
How do they know?
Like, okay, so the one had his dick cut off, the one had his hand cut off. Wasn't there a nose cut off or something too?
But how do they know
but-
that
Well, yeah, he was a nose raper, so you have to take his nose.
he was a
He liked to-
panty sniffer?
Oh, he's a cake sniffer. That's what it was.
Cake snip, yeah. But I'm just saying, it's eye for an eye kind of thing, and so he was acting in good faith. But my first note to this actually was when I first saw Damon, like in the throne room, and then this scene really because you get a good close up on the face. I'm like, man, they went really heavy on that guy's makeup, like almost like face alterations. Then I looked up the actor. No, he just looks that fucked up.
No,
Like,
yeah,
that's
he
it.
almost looks like he could be Doctor Who.
Right? Or Quagmire, at other parts.
He does have very, very distinct facial features.
Yes, he
in
does.
general,
I'm not
the
saying he's a
actor.
bad looking guy. Like looking at normal.
I mean, you didn't ask me,
he's
but
not-
yeah, I would.
Glenn Quagmire.
Glenn,
yes,
yeah.
Glenn, exactly. But he just, looks so odd. I'm like, okay, why is it like? I'm like, because I don't know the books. Does this guy have like a weird shaped face and they just were matching it? Nope, it's just the actor.
No, the
Okay.
actor is just peculiar looking. Ain't that
And that's fine.
peculiar?
I don't think
Yep.
he's bad.
That's
looking.
fine.
No, I think he's
No, he's not.
a very
he's
good
not
looking
bad
guy.
looking. It's
He's just very
like,
distinct. He's got very distinct features.
He just
Quagmire.
Yes.
sadly has skipped leg day one too many times.
He did not skip Horn Day, and we'll see that
Sorry.
later on.
So that's all I got for there. Any thoughts on the let's say the defense of the city?
I mean, I really do think he's ruling with a Targaryen fist, right? He's really trying to make a name for himself. He's really trying to just be the end all be all of this is what the law is, and I'm going to serve and do it fucking cutthroat. And because he wants people to love and respect him, and maybe more on the respect him side. He wants people to fear him side. And I think Targaryens can fall under that. Hey, we lead by fear.
Yeah.
The only reason they've never really had a chance to be fought against was because they have fucking dragons, right? So right now, we're looking at him in this era where Targaryens have dragons. They can get away with almost anything they want to. But he is leading in a pretty true way. He's not leading with fear just for fear's sake. He's leading for fear for justice sake and justice for all to some extent. He's not being cruel to... right, yeah, thank you. Yeah, Metallica! Yeah! He's not being cruel
Play
to
Free
people
Bird.
that are not breaking the rules. He's being potentially cruel to the ones that fucked up.
Right, but how do we know they fucked up? Like my whole thing
I
is like
agree with
that is the only
So
thing.
as AK said,
I didn't see it. Sorry, I can't do
So no,
all
that's
these
fine.
things at once.
I caught this. City Watch knew exactly where to find the criminals. That
They
says
did
to
run
me
them up
that
pretty
Damon-
quick.
No,
is
that's
what it
fine.
sounded
I
like.
just
absolutely had spies collecting information before going out.
okay.
Like the one guy just walks up and is like, raper, thief, murderer.
I did take it as they had done their homework.
I did.
And
I
not
did
just,
not necessarily.
And when the first time I watched it, I agree with you. It was kind of like they're just pointing out people and just saying like, "Oh, you're a thief."
And
Like,
because of what I
it's a
know
little
of
short-sighted.
Game
but
of Thrones, or like the harshness of which people can just go out on the street and start bashing heads in or
reckless
whatever,
abandon.
or
just,
like a shot through the eye that they love to do. You never know.
and you're too late.
Yes.
You give lunch a bad name.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That I was like, I didn't get the feeling that there was any type of
Justice, like
workup
investigation.
I didn't realize that. I will take your word for it, and that makes me happier about it or feel differently.
The reason I will agree with AK's point there, because we get it at a later scene, they're talking about all the money they gave Damon to arm and create this army, create the gold cloaks. So you would think if he's given all this material and all this stuff to work with, he's gonna want to do it right. You know, it's not just bloodlust. Like they're making you think that Damon is out just for bloodlust and just for doing that. But again, a later scene shows he's actually doing it for good purposes. He actually does the scene where he's defending his actions to Viserys. He's like, I'm doing this for you. I'm doing this for the city, to protect the city and everything like that. So under that realm, I'm gonna err on the side of him saying, you know what, maybe he did do his homework and it was just they're just doling out the punishments now. It's not, investigations are done. It's time to act and put the fear of God into the rest of the citizenry.
Yeah, but I think that their big thing was like, okay, you did all this stuff, but there's like a cart full of just limbs and all this
body
stuff.
parts.
Really like made an awful scene, or just like I don't know, like
It looked. They were trying to up the cruelty aspect of it, right?
It was effective, but I think, and it kind of much to the chagrin of the hand of the king, like he really didn't like it.
What, $15 word
$15 to the bank.
Boom.
Yeah, right.
$15. Just put it in the bank.
But at the same time, like, yeah, okay, so he does this awful scene, but he's really not. No one really gives a shit besides the hand, and then like, Viserys is kind of like, okay, don't do it again.
Yeah, I think we're getting to that scene, right, where we're getting to the reprimanding, the retribution for what he's doing. That's coming up next, right, Benj? But
We're in the same scene.
That's all in here right now. Okay, so we can get to that. We can get to that right now, and we also start seeing a lot of contention between Daemon and Otto Hightower. Otto von Hightower is what I'm going to call him.
Hightower.
And
he's related to Dante Hightower.
He's not, but he could be.
He's linebacker for the New England Patriots.
Yeah, and he was not at the Tower of Joy either. But, it's...
Subject topic. Wow.
It's interesting to see how Viserys King, quote, King, is dealing with his brother, right? He's very much, I have put you in the positions of these other jobs that it didn't work out. And now I put you in this position and it seemed like a good fit, but now this is probably going too fucking far. Like, you kind of fucked up. Like, this is a little bit too much. We invested a lot of time and money into helping you revitalize this, and this is actually where the gold cloaks come from, right? Specifically, this is where that becomes a lineage thing. They're gold cloaks from now on, all the way through Game of Thrones that we know. Mm-hmm. The City Watch is known as that.
Bronn of the Blackwater was their.
And I just wish he would sing in this episode. That's all I'm gonna say. I just wish he was singing, and then I would feel like we're back at home.
We thwomped him.
We thwomped him.
I'm not really a person that notices a lot of like memes. That's not usually how. Have you seen that meme? It's not how I start things, but I have seen these memes that are like about siblings, and they'll say like, how are we raised in the same house? Like how why are you like this? And I feel like
I think that every
this-
single day of my life.
hey, bro, me too.
Right.
But like,
Why do you think I'm
this-
not in the same house with you too? Shit.
fair enough. Touche. You win.
Touch.
But I'm like, how? It's almost like the Baratheon brothers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, we have like,
The Barath boys, is I think we've always called
I
them.
mean,
Barath
you could say the same
boys.
thing about
Barath
Sansa and Arya. You know,
yeah, well,
Sansa and
But
Arya.
yeah, Renly, Stannis, and Robert. Yeah.
Robert.
Robert.
It's just so funny to see the different person. Like, they're just so vastly different.
Yeah.
And Viserys is almost like astonished. Like, could we not do that again? Like, that would really help me out. Okay. Like, I was like, oh,
Yeah, so
man.
he doesn't look like the asshole.
Yeah, because he has no backbone, a little bit. And he just doesn't. He's just not a confrontational type of person, I don't think, either.
Yeah. Now, I do love the back and forth between Otto and Daemon here. Basically, Otto calls out, "We haven't, your wife in the Vale hasn't seen you in a while." Yeah, my bronze bitch. I think she likes it better that way. Again, that gives me like a Ramsay Bolton almost like mentality thought process of, like not so much, but
No,
like
yeah,
a very, like very egotistical, kind of thing like that. But then Damon comes right back into it. Well, yeah, but your wife would like, oh wait, yeah, she's dead. And it
Yeah.
just like,
Sick burn, bro.
And that
it's
was like-
okay, yeah.
A burn too far. Is what Viserys took it at, because he's the one that stepped in there. But I'm glad you brought up Ramsay Bolton,
Yeah.
because
The one true Lord of the North.
the
Yeah.
actor that plays Daemon Targaryen,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
there are many vocal similarities between him and Ramsay Bolton.
Tywin
And
Lannister.
I
yeah.
just
And it's
vocal
completely different.
similarities. It's
Just-
tendencies. It's the cadence
Tonal.
that he speaks. There
You
are
might
many
wonder where they-
times. Are they from the same area in England? I meant to look that up,
Yeah.
and I didn't
Do
follow
that,
up.
yeah.
But I mentally tried to do that, but I just didn't do it. There were many times I was like, God
Not
damn it,
enough
he
time.
sounds just a lot like Ramsay Bolton, and because he kind of talks like this. I'm not gonna do a good impression of it at all, but there are many times where he was talking to a group of people, and it sounds very much OTDA 1000%, Luke. That's good enough for me. There it is.
Oh.
They are siblings
So that is-
in real life.
Yeah.
There it
Cheers
is.
to that. Yeah, way to go.
Boom. Fucking nailed
Are
it.
So-
you from where?
I don't know where Northampton is, but it's not in Wales, which is where Iwan
I
Rowan.
did look it up.
Rain.
I did look it up. Now that you said that,
It's
because Ramsay,
The waitress
Ewan is from. He's from Wales, and the other guy's from Northampton, which is more
Northampton.
towards Manchester. Kind of, it's not terribly far away. We're talking about
Like down by the hill, Manchester, or down by like?
yeah, no, it's like
All
so take
Yeah,
so
that's what I'm
so
wondering.
drive from like Alton to
Yeah.
Fenton. It's
Okay,
like that
yeah,
far
okay,
away.
Gotcha.
Which when you're in different countries, it's like 4 countries
Right.
away. But for here in the fucking Midwest of the United States, it's like that's 800 miles and you're in the same fucking
As long
city.
as we don't get on gravel, we'll
Yeah.
be fine.
Do you mean Gravois?
Sorry.
If you're in the same radio band, then you're in the same city. God damn it! Like if a radio.
I
wave
do
will
have
reach
a
you-
question about this scene. I think the one we're
Okay.
speaking about. What are those balls?
Yeah. No.
Yeah, what
Yes.
are the
Oh, the
balls?
ball they put down, like,
Yeah.
I had the
I'm
same-
here
I was
now.
going to
My
get to
ball
that.
is here.
A cue ball,
I
It
had
gives
the
me, like-
exact same note, Abby. I have no fucking clue. Anybody in the chat?
like the
you can
paws.
There's like a little, like,
I'm not visualizing it. I'm
there's like a
sorry.
little
So,
tray
they
or
wa-
something, and they got like
yeah,
a
they
little,
walk in and they put
spherical
these little balls
thing
down,
that
like,
they
when
put-
get to the council meeting.
Benji, hang on. a
like when
second.
I'm here,
Sorry.
I'm gonna put this ball here, and now I'm present.
Oh, on the table. Like they were just
Yeah.
like that's like our identifier
Yeah, like-
ball.
Boom! But they all had one, and they
Like the
put it
name
down.
tag, like,
It was just like, oh, my ball is here, so
And
what I say qualifies.
I
It
could
just
be
felt like
wrong.
a
because
ID.
it might be
to
like
some
a
extent.
bottle opener that's
A
just like
ball ID.
merchandised. But did the hand of the king have an actual like hand pin?
Yeah, he had a pin.
Okay,
and
but
I-
That's what I was wondering. Is it just like some type of like?
It's in that drawer.
But I was like, maybe it's just a bottle opener or a pin that like they merchandise. Does that? I don't know if that was actually a thing.
Is it not?
Okay, so I'm getting just
Yeah, there it is. That's it. That's the Hand of the King, and that was in Game of Thrones as well.
That's what he had.
Yeah, it's on his shirt. It's on his tunic.
I thought they were talking about balls.
Yes.
No,
We went from balls to pins.
Balls to pins.
Hey, Glenn,
You can't go balls to pins like that.
Can you just
Well,
can you hand me the pin?
You can't right
Do
situation.
you want the ball or the pin?
I'd rather take the pin right now.
All right, here's
I'll
the pin.
give the balls.
So
But yes.
yeah, Dragon Eye that could be
Slipped off my shirt.
Basically, I'm the meeting that's his sign into the Zoom call. Now what I say is official. Once I put this down, it counts.
Is it
Yeah,
like
ball's
like
not down.
the talking cup? I know you're not allowed to talk. in
Whoa,
some,
Abby, you don't have the talking cup.
Yeah, exactly.
Would you like? Okay, Abby, it's your turn to talk.
I don't know. It just really interests me. I'm like, what are those balls that I need to know more
I really
about?
think it was like
Talking
they're
balls.
identified. You can have that. It smells great, right? Super roasty.
What is it? Where's it from?
Where's it from?
The Garlic Fair.
This is from the Missouri Garlic Festival today at Steampunk Brewery.
I wanted to go. To
It was
that,
cool. I probably still smell like garlic.
This is not garlicky though.
It's
I
not
did
because
go
that's
to
a beer.
I did go to
Oh,
a
so-
garlic specific
So-
general store in
Dragons are made of
Bristol
garlic
today.
because you smell like garlic.
Whoa, are dragons vampires? Because we have solved this Targaryen issue just by
Yeah, dragons are garlic.
doing a Bram
Yeah.
Stoker thing. Anyway. Also, the dumbest Stephen King book is the one that's just about vampires. It's called Salem's Lot. It's really kind of dumb. Anyway,
That's like the third.
Tell us how you
dumbest,
really
but yes.
feel.
let's move on. I did that just for Melissa in the chat because she liked that book and I just couldn't get behind it.
That's one where they have a
I did go
store.
through it again, Luke, and it's not as bad.
No, that's
Anyway.
Benji. What's the Rick and Morty episode one? It's in
Needful
Castle
Things.
Rock.
I'm listening to it right now.
Glutty?
Needful Things. That's my bedtime.
Needful Things.
Would you
Needful
like-
Things.
like to develop an
Wow, I've
app?
never read that. I read
It's very good. I'm
no,
actually
Salem's
reading it
Lot. They
again
have
right
a store. It's two guys.
now. Oh
Yes.
Bullshit.
Sorry, the furniture store.
Yes.
Anyway, hey,
Sorry, I'm just trying to.
I
Be,
jumped
Wrong podcast.
I jumped the wrong thing. Also, if you like Stephen King, check out our episodes on this Drawbridge Media channel on the Stephen King playlist called the podcast that floats down here. There you go. We got it, and like 25 other books. There you go. That's, I think, actually
apparently-
accurate. That's like
apparently skip
perfectly
the
accurate.
Salem's Lot one because some people don't like it.
We've got it and 25 other books by Stephen King. Perfectly accurate.
All right.
So-
So
Go ahead.
anything else on the council? Oh, actually, then we have at the very end of this block of episodes or block of scenes, we have Viserys or Daemon relieving some stress.
And this is where we meet his
This is where we,
favorite
Para-
hooer.
yeah, we'll call her that.
What? Paramoor.
Parahoor.
Lady of the Night.
It's his favorite parahoor.
Okay.
Yeah. So now we have the tits to the dragons, as one famous actor from Game of Thrones says. You know, it's like he's like it's a show about tits and dragons. What more do you want? Now we have this first half of it. Yeah, I don't remember the scene too much. It was just him feeling left out now that the king might have a new heir and all that. So he was just feeling a little down. Couldn't, everything about him was feeling a little down. Couldn't get up.
Oh,
Just-
he was up, but he just couldn't finish the job.
Yeah,
He just wasn't
yeah.
buying it.
Just
Because he's
just
looking
lost
for
his
something
steam.
more. He's looking for something
Yeah.
more.
Yes. So, but
I don't have a
anything
whole
else
lot
that
more
thing?
on
Yeah, I didn't
Damon
have-
banging an unnamed person
Yeah, she doesn't
yet.
have a name yet.
she was kind.
Yeah.
She was kind,
And
and
that's
we
how
do see
people
her
should be.
later. And I think she's going to end up being named. I think she's going to be around for a while.
She
But
does. I think she.
I did
yeah,
think he looked a
becomes-
little Smeagolish in his little.
Yeah,
Smulus.
he had the one cock ring.
You know,
Smulus.
sometimes
that's
that sounds
$15.
exciting. I'm just kidding. I don't know how to respond to that, but we're just gonna go with it. Because we never feel awkward.
one ring to grow into them all.
Oh, a DA. I'm just gonna say yep. Anyway, all right. Next scene, next series. I dubbed this "There Will Be Blood." Attorney is held with some vicious action on the lists. A birth is had with some vicious action in the bed. So, yeah. First of all, I'm gonna say this: no one calls Damon out for the fucking low blow on the horse. That pissed me off. Well, before even that scene, we get did we get the people breaking down and just straight up murdering each other? That
Yeah,
was
it
the
happens
whole
before it.
That's part of the tourney.
That's
yeah,
the
it's-
Well, it's
first part.
but
Yeah.
but like it happened before Damon.
Yeah,
low blow
absolutely.
high power.
yeah. The very
but-
first tilt
He didn't
we
low
see.
blow Hightower. He did it to the horse.
Well, that's
Fucking
what I'm saying,
asshole.
Low
No,
blowed
well,
Hightower's horse.
Yes.
Yeah, he fucking
Fucking
trips up the horse and all that shit.
piece
It's
of shit.
bullshit. But no one calls him out for that bullshit. Which I mean, yeah, it's the prince. But then no one calls out before that the people, the bloodlust, the literally murdering a dude right on the list because it's the melee. No, I'm sorry. Even in the peaceful times, it would have been stopped or should have been stopped.
Well,
You know, because that was a whole big thing with the Marine thing of, oh, these are the fighting pits. They fight to the death. It's barbaric. It's horrible. Blah blah blah. You know, Westeros doesn't do that, and them showing that they do that. I think it goes against continuity of Martin's writing itself, and I'm going to call out the writing itself of going the full bore of it. Had it been a knockout blow, a fight to the wounding, fine, maiming, sure, but a fight to the death on that, I don't buy it in the realm, in the realm.
What
at this
you
time.
just said right there takes my total context of the rest of the scene into a different area, because I don't necessarily. I didn't realize that was out of the norm. Like, I just figured, hey, that's how they were fighting or whatever. If you're telling me that it's just not really authentic to what tourneys would have been, then my thoughts on the end change a little bit.
Benj, before you continue, Glenn, thoughts on the straight up killing?
straight
Or-
up killing.
Yeah, just like the
My favorite part
brutality.
of the brutality was when the squire just yaks, because he just was like, like he's like,
to me that like kind of
loses
shows that
control.
like that's not normal, right? Like it's almost like
he's
them
like
showing that.
uncontrollably like just falls down and throws up.
Yeah.
Like for
Yeah.
me, that was just like out of control.
So think
And I
back to the hands tourney for Ned Stark,
Mhm.
right? And the murder that we saw was the Mountain killing the squire for Robert Arryn. He was
Yes.
just knighted, and that was kind of a big fucking deal. And
Yes.
the Hound says the Mountain's lance goes where the Mountain wants it to go.
Yes.
It was no accident that he fucking killed that guy. Basically, that was on purpose. And so, Benji, I'm agreeing with you that this was I'm going to call this a show fail of
Yes.
trying to show brutality for brutality's sake in a way that kind of goes against the real nature of the heart of the story, where this area, this realm, and there were always accidents could happen, but a straight up murder,
different.
a straight up, okay, we just fucking finished this tilt and now I'm gonna go and melee and kill this person, that's a bit different. And I feel like there would have been retribution, but I'm gonna say this, there should have been retribution, but maybe it's showing Viserys as a weak king,
Not stopping it.
He's not
not
regulating.
stopping it.
Yeah.
I think that
True.
that's the way I can justify what they're showing is Viserys not stepping in, like Robert did when the Mountain and the Hound were fighting. He goes, "That's enough!" Like he fucking
Yeah.
stopped
You're
it.
right.
That's the only way I can personally justify the way it happened. Is they're trying to show that Viserys doesn't have the same mandate authority that even Robert Baratheon did.
You're right.
And at this time, like, correct me if I'm wrong, but is he not there because he's dealing with
he
was there
the-
for this. He was there for this, for
But
sure.
then, like right after this,
Because he was there
gets called
all the
away.
way through the
Good
next
husband.
tilt, which was Daemon and Otto's
Hightower.
son.
Ottoson.
Ottoson.
Okay.
Yeah, and
then
that's
he-
the big
he
thing
leaves.
is,
And then he does leave mid tilt.
you know, and it does leave open the line from Renee.
Rainey's.
Rainey's. Thank you. God damn it.
They say her name so many
subtitles-
times in the meeting, so you remember her name.
Subtitles fuck. Well, the problem is subtitles fuck me in the way that it helps Abby.
Oh no, I can't read it. I just have to
Well,
be
like,
able to
I
copy it
I
down.
do read them. Yeah,
I can't
but
read
I do
it.
read them more than I actually listen half the time, and so you know,
All
I,
of them.
I see the
She
name,
is
and
Rahaney's in my mind.
Yeah, Rainey's. Yeah,
Ignore
So
the
Rainey's
H.
makes it
They're
kind of-
always
Rhaenra.
just-
a callback to like Catelyn Stark of boys playing at war kind of thing. You know, where it's a peacetime thing. These fools have no idea what war really is. You know, because they have no clue. So I got a very much Catelyn Stark
What a
mentality
good
from
mom.
that line. Anyway, moving on.
Big
But-
fan. Big fan. Big metal fan. Like a turbine.
She was great in Feast for Crows. Anyway,
All the way through. all
it plays to that line, but
Everything
beyond that,
was
yeah,
perfect.
it did bother me on the rest of that. So anyway, yeah, but no one calls out Damon. Fuck Damon for the low
That-
blow. That just pissed me off.
That
I
showed me
just- yeah.
everything that I needed to know.
I just don't know. Is it a low
Dirty.
blow?
Yes,
yeah.
to
It
the
is.
horse. Are you
Dude,
kidding
That's
me?
dirty pool.
He
There
could have
were-
killed that horse. Like,
Yeah,
I'm sorry,
there was
I-
a-
I'm here to win.
I don't give a shit. Like,
But I
there was
that's
a
think
so
jousting game I
dirty.
used to play on addicting games, and like literally you had to like guide your
DickyGames.com. No, that one.
Yes, that you had
No,
to
that
guide your
reference.
thing,
Drink.
and if you go low to the horse, if you hit the
Somebody
horse
do that
at all,
website.
you're disqualified.
I
from the entire
literally,
tournament.
Benji, I
and
love that I
fuck
saw
you.
this note because the first time I saw this, I immediately paused the episode and started looking up jousting rules.
Yeah.
Like, what are the
Were they
official
playing at rings? That's a jousting thing. Too.
jousting rules? And then I was like, but like, let's go back further than like today's, like when a joust was like a real,
yeah.
like, I couldn't get a definite answer, but I was pissed.
Yeah, I think it's
I was
just-
pause the show, pissed. He's done.
It probably just depends
Anyway.
on the time, you know, whoever's creating the tournament, like house rules, I guess, because
Yeah.
I definitely seen certain jousting shows or whatever, like where I should say shows with jousting in them, where it's just almost like a round one, and then whoever wins gets a point or whatever, and you know, like the Knight's Tale, I think, you know. But then this is more like a, okay, we're gonna go, and then we're gonna go again, like
And
in mid fucking go, like we're not gonna pause at all.
Hey, I'll trip a horse right now.
give me my fucking
I'll
sword.
trip a horse right now.
No.
Just
You-
right now.
I know somebody who
Where are you
will
from?
murder
Tripoli?
I also have a very serious question about the horses. Sorry.
Is it like emotionally serious or just
What is-
technically serious?
I mean, like emotionally. What
or more
is
of a
the
serious black.
what? Yeah. What is
it's a big black dog, not a
There-
big black horse. Anyway,
problem with brown horses?
they're horse racists. Is what
I
it is.
yeah. I don't know. There's nope. Black and white. That's it.
Not even a single fucking Palomino.
I'm pretty sure they're all.
Where's the Clydesdales? God
There's
damn it.
none. No.
Clydesdales.
I'm pretty sure they're all French, and they're
Somebody
beautiful.
needs to.
But like,
Our St. Louis is
I
showing
really
with that
think
comment.
it's because
You need to ride in on a zebra. because-
like while I was watching it, I felt like there are 3
Zebras
or
are
4
called
horses that they will
zorses
allow
and Game of
to
Thrones.
joust
Yeah, they are.
that are trained in this jousting, and so they just kept switching them in and out, and that's all I could focus on.
Was just the color of the horse.
Well, was just that
which horse it was?
well, there was like probably
is a horse of a
4
different color.
tops that could actually do the jousting, so they just like switched them in and out, and I don't know. It pulled me out of it a little bit because
You're horse focused.
yes,
Hey,
I'm
So,
horror
alright.
focused. It's fine.
horse and horse focused.
Yes,
All right.
But-
Anybody got anything else?
Nope.
But Shea Stadium wasn't even in this,
I
Abby.
know. I looked for it. There was a Shea Stadium moment. I'll give it to you later because I gotta actually rewatch it. I was like, that kind of looks like Shea. A funny girl.
We might
A
get
funny
that to you
har.
later. A funny har. All right. So let's juxtaposition this scene with the bed birthing.
Actually,
I
I had to make a comment. I realized I actually
Okay.
had a note on the
Oh, gotcha.
jousting thing.
Yeah.
Jousting juxtaposition.
Did anyone else get a feel for the way it was shot? Heath Ledger, A Knight's Tale.
Yes.
I never saw it that
And
one.
I was missing Mark Addy and Paul Bettany in there. Mark Addy.
Heath Ledger too soon.
Who was Robert Baratheon, correct?
Absolutely. Yeah, I
Yeah,
just
okay.
in
I'm
that
I saw
scene,
your
the
note,
way
and I'm
the
like-
way they shot it, it just very much harkened back to
The boys are back in town.
The boys are back in town,
It's
as
a
Glenn would
GoPro.
say. And Cheryl Crow was not there. I misheard what you said. I'm
I
sorry.
said like with a GoPro.
A GoPro. I you said Cheryl Crow.
Cheryl Crow
No, but she was at Woodstock '99, and that was a train wreck. Watch that.
Joe, Jen, get off
Joe, Jen.
Oh,
Great HBO documentary on that one.
So more
Yeah, no, I'm watching that right now. But the other quick notes I had was Damon outright choosing Otto Hightower's son specifically. We're going to come back to that. And no, this whole thing goes to the birth too, right? We have the birth going on right now.
Yeah.
It goes
Oh,
at the
yeah.
same time.
And-
Like we meet Kristen Cole as well.
We miss Kristen Cole, and he fucking kicks ass.
he's the polka dot knight, right?
He's
Yes,
the one
he
that
is.
beats
No.
Damon.
No, he's the polka dot
He's
knight.
the one that beats Damon.
He's got
He's
polka
in
dots.
silver. He's
But
in silver.
he's got polka dots on his.
Oh, the 3 dots on the shield.
I don't know. It's
Yes.
That's
Or
his.
not multiple dots.
It's a bunch of coal pieces.
So he's like a
He's a polka dot.
It
he's
is.
somehow
It's a
affiliated-
polka dot.
Kristen
He's got the polka dot shield.
Whatever.
so real quick. He's like somehow affiliated with the Dondarrions, right?
He's Dornish. The
Kristen
Dondarrions are Stormlands. Kristen Cole, Allison,
Or
or
is that somebody else?
Rhaenyra specifically says he's Dornish. So
Yeah.
I don't know a connection between the Dondarrions.
I thought that's what they said, but maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah. No.
And maybe you
And at this
heard
point-
Dondarrion when they
I
said
heard Dondarrion
Dornish.
somewhere.
I think they said Dornish. He's either way.
Yeah. He's Dornish.
I don't know.
Was the line and
Dornish
Yes,
wench.
Dornish.
Dornish wench in the chat right now says hate Kristen. There you go. So just take that.
So okay, that's fine.
is Dorn in this? Well, I guess
Phil
they're-
H says he's
yeah,
from Northern
they've-
Dorne.
Yeah.
They say
I
it
mean-
in the episode.
I thought they said something about him being affiliated with the Dondarrion.
I don't remember Don.
Unless that was somebody else.
It could have been. I didn't hear that. I
heard it,
missed
I
that.
just don't have it written down in my
Yeah.
notes. But I don't
I'm
know
not
if it's
disagreeing with you. I just didn't hear that.
Yeah.
So I'm disagreeing with you.
Sorry,
Glenn-
for letting the team down.
Wow. Hey,
I mean, I heard
finish
what I
your
heard.
drink. No,
I'm not
don't
finishing
finish your drink. But
But
Yeah.
But either way, we saw Kristen Cole, and so the one thing that I want to get to on this birth bed, right? That's the other big thing going on is when Otto von Hightower's son, and it's not really Otto von Hightower, that's what I'm calling him because it
Dante Hightower is
Dante Hightower's
I guess.
kindred spirit is going in the joust against Daemon, and they tilt a few times, and no, sorry, Kristen Cole. It's when it's with him and Kristen Cole in the tilt, and
with Damon.
and Damon, Kristen,
'Cause
Damon,
doesn't
tilt.
Kristen go
And he
against
knocks him off his
couple
horse,
Baratheon
but he
men?
lands on the rail, and he grinds like you would get so many points in Tony
Oh,
Hawk's
did you
Pro
see it? Yeah.
Skater
That was awesome.
for that backside slide. That's all I'm saying. It'd be great.
It was a
You
good
get,
grind.
he would get continuity points for how he made that trick land. And
He
then
didn't land.
it was kind of new information for us that in a joust you can choose to continue it into a melee, right? That was new information.
That's what I was saying. Like, I think Abby was talking about like rules of jousting and stuff. I wonder if this is just kind of house rules or something like that.
I think
where
so.
it's-
Like in cornhole, when
Yeah.
you have to
Well,
go down
sure,
to
like-
15, or you just win.
Either
and
you
go
bust
over.
or you
It
don't.
just depends. And
Because the melee was always a separate thing. Like
Right,
and in
yeah.
book,
The
you guys-
melee is
Yeah.
a separate
Like-
fight. It's a separate
Well,
tournament
but you
event.
can choose a
Cr-
combat by
Kristen-
arms or whatever they call it.
in the book
Yeah.
defeats Daemon in the joust and then later in the melee. From what
Right,
I've
but
learned
it's not
this
the
week.
same thing. It's not necessarily
Th-
a
they've-
melee
they've
happens
combined it
Like
right.
seconds after the joust.
into this.
Right.
Like I just
And
got.
at
I
the
just
same
got.
point, it would still be blunted weapons. The whole point is everybody uses blunted weapons.
yeah,
in the sense
turning
of-
weapons. You call them turning weapons
Yeah.
because they're blunted.
You're not
Like,
trying to kill, you're just trying to win.
Right.
You know, and that's my problem with the earlier scene of,
No, I absolutely
actually
agree. I
fucking-
absolutely agree. So while the Kristen Cole and Daemon Targaryen battle joust is going on, we have.
Which real quick, or
Go ahead. No, go
real
ahead.
quick, like Kristen Cole has that little ball and chain thing,
Yeah.
like
he-
spiked ball and
yeah,
chain.
a morning star. A morning star.
No other point. They're just that's what he had.
Mace is not on chain. Morning star has on
I don't
chain.
know what they're called. They always reminded me of the things you would fucking do at church.
Yeah.
The incense decanter thing.
That's probably
It's not a
it, so I'm
tabernacle,
gonna use
but,
this as a weapon.
I just always
Dang,
thought that you
God
could
damn
really
it.
do some damage with those. And obviously you can.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that
Catholicism
morning star
is
definitely
built
wasn't
on
blunted.
weapons. Catholicism
You
is
said
built
it's
on
a
weapons.
tabernacle. That's what it's called.
That's
It's
definitely not.
It's not. I said it's not the tabernacle. That's
There's
it's
a
an
name.
area of the church. It's the.
Never mind. we're
Oh,
not
you're
do
gonna give
this.
me.
No, it's
you're gonna
okay.
fucking suck it.
There's an app.
Deacon.
So we gotta stop. We gotta stop.
Yep, moving
So-
on.
All right.
The thing that I'm trying to get to is the birth bed.
Yes.
During that
Yes.
fight is Emma in the birth bed, and
Mhm.
it's not going well for her.
No.
And
probably not.
and the maester walks up to Viserys, who left. In all,
So
I respected him for leaving the joust, the
I don't.
tournament. He heard immediately. He heard that she was in labor.
I get it, but you guys are literally like setting the bar on the fucking ground. Like, do you get that? Like, that's
so
not
okay, Abby, in your opinion, should he have been there
the
before?
entire fucking time.
Okay, fair.
The entire time.
It's his fault though, because he.
He
Like-
fucked her.
He-
That's why. That's his. It's his
Well,
fault.
Well, and
well,
it-
I'm
but
saying-
he planned an entire celebration party that was going to take his entire
And then he
attention
puts it out to
away
her.
from this. He has, again, put all his dicks in one basket to hatch or whatever, and
Dick eggs.
it's just,
Dickings.
Dick eggs.
it's asinine to me because everybody's like, oh my god, like
Jimmy-
at least
Jimmy
he
Dickens.
left, he was so sad. Bullshit, I don't give a fuck. Like, you did this to yourself. And you were not there for her. Like, she says, no, how did you say her name? Emma
Emma.
says,
Emma.
yeah, Emma says, the birth bed is our battlefield. Like, for him to not even be present and to have, like, it is disgusting to me. And we're going to give him credit because we can give him credit, right? Like, at least he did that. No, fuck him. I'm sorry. I don't
He
care.
announces the labors. Queen
Like-
Emma
like
has
he's
gone
done
and started
something.
her
Like,
labors.
yeah,
You know?
fucking can't take it.
His intention was to do that the whole time, I think, because
get
he just wanted to have that Mustafa moment like we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
Like he wanted
Very
that,
Like,
like
and you are right. He does
The
go when
men
he
were
finds
not
out
there
shit has hit the
for-
fan.
he just wanted to
Good
like,
for him. Thanks.
oh, the baby's
I mean,
been birthed. It's
again,
a boy.
Not
I'm sorry,
defending.
thanks.
No,
It's
I-
just- yeah, not
Like-
defending, but throughout history, even up till very recent times,
I
it
get
was
that.
not common for the man to be in there. You know, it was like let the professionals do their thing, and
The professional.
I just-
The quote
The
unquote
professionals.
with the, hey, they
We're
know more than he
professional.
does.
We're professional
Hell,
maesters.
a fucking orangutan knows more than fucking Viserys does, but it's so I can't. I can understand your
Chagrin.
mindset of it, like, but at the same point, it's again going back to the time and all that. But to the time frame, he hears about the issues and he's up and gone. He's at the bedside.
But
And
he
there- and that's
planned an
where the-
entire event for the entire realm.
Yes.
Like, my thing isn't
I
that he
know,
wasn't
I know.
in the room, but he
I don't
literally
disagree with
planned an
that.
entire party she would never
It
even
could've
be able
been
to
pushed
come
back
to.
2 weeks.
And they talked about this earlier on that we
Like-
kind of skipped over, and they said, do you think it's
His vision.
kind of an ill taste that we're playing this
Playing the horse?
until it's done? And he goes, no, I had the dream
Right,
that's
it's
gonna
gonna
fucking happen.
The fish.
Yeah.
But that's
And-
I think it's kind of leading into the king
He's dope.
speaks, and I'm not saying it's
Yeah.
right, but that's what we're learning. It's the king's belief is what has to happen.
Yep.
Right? Right or wrong,
That's how he
I've been
wants it. That's
going
what
in
we're
the
doing.
same direction. It's a good song. Hoobastank. But I think that's what we're supposed to take from it. And my point being is we get to the birth bed and we get to the point where the Grandmaster says, in some births, the father has to make an impossible choice.
Yes.
And it comes down to either we're going to lose both of them or we can do what's eventually the medieval version of a cesarean to
Right.
some extent, which is we don't have a way of fixing it after the fact to where we actually can save her life after
Right.
we cut her open. But it's interesting that we have that choice being put on screen.
You think so?
Yeah.
I think it was needed to show that he's going to choose the easier male lineage as a part against just choosing Rhaenyra. It shows that he made his choice.
See,
And
like, okay, so,
because he hasn't, sorry Benji, sorry,
no,
he
go ahead.
hasn't completely bought into the idea of I'll never have a male son yet.
Right.
This is his last opportunity in his mind, and for all the wrong reasons, he's choosing I will lose my wife for the opportunity to just save this potential son because I need that for my lineage to be a thing.
Yeah, and I think all the,
I'm not
all
agreeing
the
with it. I'm
pressure
just
that's
trying to say
mounted
what I
on
think he's thinking of.
everyone telling him that, oh, like you need to have a male heir and all this stuff or whatever. Like I think it's just kind of changed his perspective. Like, I need to do this because you know I had this big ass tournament or whatever, and if I don't come with a male heir, like if they just die, like it's all for none, you know.
Yeah. And very true. And now here's the thing, though. It's interesting. I don't know if this is how you guys read the scene originally, but when I watched it, and then again, I watched it today with my wife, who not seen anything, not read anything, and she saw it the same way. Rhaenyra or Emma was gonna die, either way.
That's what they said. God damn it!
Like that's the way. That's the way it's. You
No,
know,
the way they say it is basically you're losing both, or like they make it very obvious. I think in the episode that
yeah.
both are gonna die unless you do this. That's blatantly said. Whether or not it's true, I don't know, but they blatantly say that in the show to show.
Yeah, and we'd already talked about the Maester's ineptitude. You know, of shit.
$15
So they,
word.
like, you know, so they, you know, probably were wrong. Obviously, were wrong with one way or another, but they had already assumed Emma's gonna die.
I don't
I've
think
been
they were wrong.
sacrificing kids since I was 14 years old. Let me be honest. I mean,
We're not talking about your socks right now, Luke.
hey, just saying, I've killed hundreds of millions of
The
kids.
stiff socks.
You know,
So-
but so
Go ahead, Bench.
Go ahead.
I have to take it to
No,
a lighter
I-
angle.
like-
I'm sorry.
I'm interested to see how you guys first perceived the scene of, you know, the choice he made, because in his head, the information he's given,
That's
it's either Emma's dead either way, but we
That's
could
what they
still save
say.
the child.
That's what they say.
And
It
I'm
took
saying
me
the
the
information
second
that he's
watch,
given.
or like going back and being like, wait, what did he just say right there? Because I never really thought
The
it was a choice.
Maester colored it.
I never really thought it was a choice between the baby or her. It was
Okay.
both or one.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
Like
yeah. And that's the
she's
truth. That's
that is-
what we knew. That's what we heard.
how I perceived it, which is a really horrible situation. And in that situation, I do not think he chose wrong. Because as a
Exactly.
mom, like I'm going anyways, take the baby. Like that
Yeah.
would be my hope or desire also.
Yeah.
If there was no way to save, like, and there was like fine. What I think is funny though, like you guys are talking about seeing this on screen, right? Like, did you feel like it was like intense? It was what, like you're saying? Like, it was
well
they
well
had to.
portrayed.
They were trying to show I think Glenn. I'm gonna ask Glenn. Sorry, because we've been talking a lot, and Glenn hasn't had a chance to talk in a little while.
Okay, so you're asking me my thought
On that birth bed
Him having
scene.
to like choose, and then
Okay.
her being ripped open, and
I think, well, for one, they did like a scene pretty much where it's like, here's a decision, like here's all this, baby birthing stuff.
And it's kind of back and forth with the joust, and melee thing, which harkens back to Emma talking to Rhaenyra early on of our battlefield is the birthing bed, right?
Right.
But now we're seeing that dichotomy kind of thing.
Right. And, I think...
Turn the microphone towards your face.
Oh. I'm sorry. But, I don't know, it's just... They're just kind of going on at the same time. So, what else you want to say?
Yeah, and so can I respond to something in the chat there?
Unless it's from Phil Age.
Nope. She said she would have chosen the same if given the choice, but was terrified
yeah,
of being.
I
dragged
have
down the
that
bed,
noted
like
too, Benj, to talk about.
And so yeah, absolutely. Like the way it was done, because she's high on milk of the poppy.
She's
She's as stoned as she can get. Has as much epidural as she can get, and then all of a sudden, her husband comes up, holds her hand, and they just yank her down.
So Benji, I'm going to read the comment real quick because you just kind of referred to it, but it's from the imagination realm. She would choose the same if given the choice, but was terrified being dragged down the bed. Like, what the fuck is happening?
Exactly.
So you were working towards it. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Yeah. No. And I did actually read it off before I started talking, but that's okay.
I interrupted.
No,
okay.
But
sorry, I just didn't hear it. My bad.
That's where I think a lot of the animosity towards the scene that I've heard over this last week is not quite the decision that was made. Originally, it was like, how dare he make that decision, blah, blah, blah. But it was more like because people were reacting to the way it was done. And yeah, that was a horrible fucking way to do it to somebody. She's high, fucking stoned off her ass as best as possible. She's even like, hey, okay. And then all of a sudden, there's not enough poppy, milk of the poppy going. She feels everything. That's the one key thing. She's feeling it of what they're doing. She feels the pain. Milk of the poppy is just a kind of a, relaxer. It's not a painkiller.
It's everything. It's everything.
So what was
it is, but they couldn't give her too much.
You said people were having
because it's fucking heroin.
Were people having problems with the fact that it was a cesarean on whatever, or that he chose to keep the baby?
I think it was a misunderstanding of, the choice that he had of saving one or the other, and he chose to save the baby. Was the original pushback?
Well, that's a misunderstanding of what the episode was doing, because it was clearly
I'm just asking for
choice.
clarification.
They have to pick between one or the other.
But then the pushback. But then I think it hit people because of the way it was done. Was why it had more emotion to people. Because it's a shitty way, but in reality, in the time frame, that's exactly how they would have done it to get the kid out as quick as possible.
So,
if the choice is made,
that's
what's going to happen.
Stop you right there, because this is kind of the point I'm getting to. I hear people talking, and I have also kind of dabbled in some internet stuff because now I'm allowed and I'm super excited.
Wait, what?
I have.
Wait, no, Abby.
I have.
You're still banned.
No, it's so cool.
Get off the internet.
I'm not a summer child anymore. I get to at least be fallish. Okay, automy. So anyways, what I just thought was so amazing and cool was people were very moved and touched by this scene, and it was dramatic and it was scary and it was, you didn't know what was going on, and then you felt bad, and then things were happening so fast, and it was gruesome and it was graphic, and that is childbirth.
Every single step of the way is a potential life-ending moment, right?
Also, in this very same way, had we not had modern medicine, our sister would be dead.
Yeah.
She would be dead.
Yeah.
And
my son probably wouldn't be here.
Right. There's just...
Bye.
Yeah. No, The
Yeah,
fact that I
absolutely.
feel like it invokes so much heat or passion or anger, and like this is the one
It's
scene
one of
that
the
I
most
can
humane
can
things you could ever put on.
continually
Yeah.
having people talk about. And here we are, having a woman do the most womanly thing you can do, and it is being discussed like play by play, analyzed. They could have done this.
Yeah.
Like this is the reality, and I loved it. I loved the fact that it was so dirty and messy
Gritty.
and
And
in your
again, shout out
face.
to Cyan Brooke. Killed the fucking scene.
She was
3
awesome.
scenes.
And
That was the name of the actress.
I also think that
I
I
might be
just
saying it wrong.
It's okay.
there was just such like a dramatic emphasis on how
I think you mean emphasis.
emphasis. Oh, okay, let me read through that again. Like on women being tougher, and their
$15.
$15 being worth more than what
That's gonna be a fun thing.
within this realm is actually given to you. I love this scene. Like not really loved it,
And
but
I really did
but
too.
she gave
I did.
everything.
And I loved that moment when, like, I'm not a big fan of how it went down, but I loved how it was portrayed when, because he had to make an impossible choice, right?
Yeah, like
And I like the way the Maesters put it to him. And I like the fact that they said it's one or none.
Yeah.
It's none either way. If
Yeah.
you do nothing, it's none.
Yep.
I'm glad we got that. It wasn't
Yes.
him choosing one or the other.
yes.
That would have been more of a contentious thing, and that might not be a good season 1 episode
No, that'd be
choice.
terrible. I would be real.
That
I
would
would
be
feel completely
like
different.
season 3, episode 1. Maybe you could get by with that, but it would be too early to open that door for a thing like that. But
Yeah.
I thought they did a good job. I thought they did a good job of showing Viserys' side of it too, and him having to make that impossible choice,
Yeah.
and being a part of holding her down.
Yeah.
I like that
Yeah.
he played a part in that, and he didn't just say, "This is the choice," and he walked away. He emotionally was invested in that
Mhm.
because he helped hold her down for
My
basically
only,
what killed her,
my only
right?
thing,
Like, come on, like that's, and he knew it was
Yeah.
gonna kill her.
I just
but
wish
I
she would have
thought
been
that-
told because she would have let it happen.
I agree.
Yes.
She would have let it
That I do
happen.
agree with.
I do agree with that. 100%.
Yeah.
She
That's my
should have
only
been brought
contention on
in
it.
on.
Yeah, and she got kind of pulled. And
This
stuff,
is
and
the decision that
what the hell's going
we're
on?
making.
For you. Right, like-
with you is would have been better, or not saying, but like,
Yeah.
this is where we're at. This is the choice,
Yeah. Do you want this baby to live or not?
and I think this is what I'm leaning towards.
Yeah.
Have that hard conversation as opposed to just make the decision. But kings had to make those impossible decisions, and they just get used to doing that. So I think some of his bringing up led to why she wasn't involved in the decision. Regardless,
It
it
gets
was
messy.
it was
and it's fast, and you make all the wrong decisions.
regardless, it was a well done scene to have a lot of things to talk about, and it was acted very well, right? I mean,
Yeah,
like she did
absolutely.
an incredible job, and like when she finds out, oh no, I'm dying now.
No, yeah.
That was traumatic,
It was.
right? Like it was. He could have done better, and I believed in him more than that before that scene. I believe that, yeah, he's a happy-go-lucky king, but now he's kind of being lazy. That was the scene where it was, to me, it's obvious that he's being lazy,
He took the easy way. Like
right?
Yeah.
he
Oh, yeah.
didn't.
Because we
he
don't
didn't
know-
have
we
the
don't
hard
know-
conversation.
We don't
He made
know
right
the nature
choice,
of
but
what
he
he's
didn't
done.
do the right things.
We don't know the nature of every choice he's made before this. We know all the nature of what's going on right now, and he chose the easy thing, and it
That's
colors the
not
rest of the context for everything else that we've seen from him before.
Mhm.
That choice right there, where she doesn't know,
Yeah, I think he just always kind of takes the easy road.
yeah,
And some of these other decisions he's made, this one being probably the biggest one, like he just takes easy road out of it. Like, whatever doesn't cause me as much harm, or that I can get through this without.
Can I go and listen to Rascal Flatts after this or not?
You can.
Life
if
is
you
the
want.
highway.
Anyway, that
Is that what he said?
that's one of the things he said. So,
all right.
is that the end of?
That's the end of
yeah.
this section here.
That was our longest
well, we do
section.
well,
I think
pretty
at
much.
the very end of that, or right before, I can't remember the
I got an itch.
placement
I'm
of
sorry.
it. We do get Kristen Cole beating Daemon, which we did mention, and asking the princess for her favor. And as that happens, that's when Otto Hightower returns and starts giving word to everybody in the top box of the Quidditch match there.
Do you think Winky was in the top box?
I think she was, and Blinky and Clyde. But oh, I doubled up the reference there. Ha ha ha.
Winky
Anyway,
and Clyde.
Winky, Blinky.
I was going with top box for Quidditch World Cup.
I know. But Winky, Blinky, something, and
Clyde. Pac-Man? Is that Pac-Man?
And Poe.
That's Pac-Man. There we go. No.
Poe is one of the ghosts in Pac-Man.
Not in Pac-Man. No, it is not.
Sure it is.
I thought it's like Winky, Blinky,
Stinky and
Clyde or something like that.
Yep. It's
like one of them has like a. It's not like a Stinky or Blinky or whatever. It's like a Clyde.
It's not Stinky. It's Winky, Blinky, and something and Clyde. But it's not.
Someone in the chat is like, you guys are fucking ridiculous. You guys are not good at. You guys know nothing. You guys don't even drink, is what they're gonna say. Clearly, you don't drink because you don't know anything.
On that word, drink.
Anyway, so like the
drink, to drinking.
The Daemon Targaryen against Kristen.
She's a Daemon.
Like, one of my least favorite things about like battles or whatever is whenever the one guy like knocks the one guy down, and then like he needs to go to the crowd, or he needs to like pause for a second and let the other guy collect his stuff, get up, and like
he was showboating. Watch pro wrestling. He was playing in the crowd too much. Didn't go for the pin. Didn't go for the final.
Right.
Left the guy open. Let him recover. Kristen got the
made him yield or whatever. Classic case of that.
But yeah, I just wanted to bring that up too, because we did get the finish of that match, and then everybody kind of running off, and we get the last shot on Rhaenyra on her face as she's happy that Kristen, she's kind of smitten a bit, or impressed with Kristen. Let's put it that way, impressed with him. So she gives him that, and she's smiling as everything else is going on behind her, and it's like, oh, and then you kind of see her face slightly drop as the word kind of travels. Like it's just a slight, thing to her, but it was very well shot, the whole scene.
And we had the Daemon Targaryen getting the laurel from the favorite from Alicent Hightower earlier.
Yeah, I think we kind of skipped over that, is where Daemon chose, because they had the feud with him and Otto, right? And then he chose Addison to battle.
Otto von Hightower.
He ends up beating him through, maybe dirty play or whatever.
Dirty pool.
Dirty pool. But then, like, after that, he wins, and then he asks Alicent Hightower for her, like,
thank you,
support or whatever. And it just, kind of like a middle finger to Otto Hightower, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah, because she's choosing to make her own personal choices regardless of her family. She's showing ambition on her own, is what I take that as. It's in spite of Otto von Hightower.
Yeah, but now on top of that too,
she's a real Margarian.
Bring a shout out. One last thing.
Not real butter, but Margarian.
I didn't get the Baratheon's first name, but the Baratheon jouster asks for the queen who never was's.
Rhaenys. Yeah,
her favor, Rhaenys, and it's just kind of a little nod of, hey, here's to come, because Rhaenys like, thank you, cousin, because it's a whole, that's where the lineage of the Baratheon, and
it started way earlier.
Claim.
It started way earlier than that. way earlier than that.
Well, okay.
And High Tower leans over to Viserys right there.
Aegon himself, the Conqueror, had a bastard brother, Baratheon. It
Gotcha.
started earlier than
His
that.
first name was Bastard. Last name
His name
Well,
was
yes.
Bastard Baratheon.
No. They were friends. He was the first hand.
Yeah, Bastardo Baratheon, I think is what it's called.
No.
Bastardo. We'll come back to it. Don't worry about it, Abby. Stress less.
I'm not stressed. I just wish I could have it
But
in my head. I don't.
Good, no, good. You're absolutely right, Abby. But I don't know the name, and
I just listened to it. I wish it was coming to my
Yeah.
brain, but it's not. That's okay.
So, all right. So we're moving on to the next section, unless anybody else got anything else.
I think I'm ready for the next section.
Next section. All right. 7 stages of grief. A funeral is held for the queen. A council is held to discuss the succession. I almost had the word. God damn it. The hand sends some comfort the king's way. So I'm gonna hold off. I think Abby has the best note for the first part. Of
Abby
this.
always has the best notes.
No, that's not true. If
Well.
I have notes, but I do have a question because my note could not be pertaining to this if I'm understanding things wrong.
Mhm.
Why is there a reason why Rhaenyra?
Yes.
Because it's her dragon.
Nope.
And why her
yes.
father?
Wait, hold on.
Yes.
What's the question?
My question is,
Let her
why
say it out
was
loud. Let her say it
Rhaenyra
out
the
loud.
one to
Sorry.
cremate her mother and not her father?
Because her father rode Balerion, who is now dead. He has not conjoined with another dragon. So he does not have a dragon
He
to
doesn't have a
cremate
lighter.
his wife.
That's why I needed that answer
Rhaenyra
before my feelings.
does.
That's why I needed
Yeah,
the
no,
answer. Because my feelings is, as somebody who doesn't have a ton of background, history, knowledge, whatever, all it looked like to me was he was too weak to fucking do it himself.
I think they played that up as well. I'll be
Yeah, they
honest.
did play that
They
up.
played that up to showing that Viserys is weak.
Yes.
I think they played that
Yes.
whole point where he can't
Because they
even
didn't never mention
function
about
as
So
a
my
fucking person
original
right now.
note is, you, Viserys, couldn't wait for a son because he could carry on the family name, but you can't bring yourself to cremate your wife. You are so weak.
Yeah.
So
And
instead,
that-
that's why I wanted to ask, because I felt like maybe there was something going on with it being her dragon. I hadn't seen his, whatever, but
and that's exactly how I read it, like how
Yeah.
I watched it and saw it. Little research of it. I was like, I just Googled Viserys dragon, and it popped up. He rode Balerion. He was the last rider of Balerion when he died, and he just never attached to another. So it made
underneath,
sense to me, but I think it does play it up like you
Underneath
said.
it all is a Gwen Stefani song, and you hate Gwen Stefani, so there you go.
it's okay. But
Just giving
Like,
context.
as
Just giving
I-
context.
took the scene for what it was, knowing little. I see here. Sorry, Jake Cruz. I don't really know who you are, but I'm about to
Jake's great.
really
Jake's a good dude.
go against you right here.
Big fan of him for a long
Okay,
time.
so the father was distraught. I don't give a fuck, and I feel like I have a very firm ground to stand upon.
No, this is
Speaking
a personal
specifically
touch. Personal touch.
as a mother of children who have lost a parent, it doesn't matter how distraught you are. Your children matter more. So that was like my biggest problem with this whole scene. Like, how dare you be so sad that you can't function and you lay it upon your child? That is not okay. And
I'm not disagreeing with you.
but that's why I wanted to ask for clarification
No.
first.
And you're correct.
Yeah.
And I just want to add to what you're saying.
Yes.
Of we've been seeing this whole episode how little Viserys does against his brother Daemon, right? He almost believes in his family ties to a fault, I think is a way of putting it. Of he's not looking past himself
No,
very much.
yes.
Is that fair? Like
Yes.
Family
he's looking
Ties, a
for
great show starring Michael J. Fox.
I know. I know. I said that specifically for the show reference. I really did.
But I just
Um, But you see where I'm coming from. I think he's pulling
He's so narrow in his focus.
because we are Targaryens.
Yeah, and untouchable. That's
Exceptional
he
is the word.
So
Exceptionalism.
narrowly focused. Like, it is such a detriment to what's about to happen.
But like Benji said earlier, his father, King Jaehaerys, led so well that he doesn't really know contention that well.
And
He's basically
Jaehaerys-
the He's basically the Prince Charles of 100A whatever.
110 AC.
110 AC. Because when the Queen dies, Charles is taking over. He doesn't got shit to do. Everybody else is running it. He just sits back and kind of gets to do this, do that, here and there.
I mean, we're all experts on.
That's what I was just gonna say. I have to not touch this because I just don't feel like I can.
I mean, they have no power anyway.
Yeah,
I don't know about that.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do.
I'm not disagreeing. Like, I get what you're saying, but I feel like that is like
we are clearly experts in English monarchy.
As long as they continue making the crown, I don't care how the
from here in Missouri. We know all about the politics of the English crown.
Anyway,
let's
moving on.
My thoughts that I had written down when I first watched this was, I liked when we were in this small council meeting and Viserys just rips out, "My son and wife are dead.
Yep.
I will not suffer crows to come to feed and feast on their fucking corpses," right? Obviously calling out to Feast for Crows, which is a common theme in this book series, but I like that he fucking stands up and just says, we're talking about bullshit right now. Like, yeah, it's a real thing, but at the same time, like, let me fucking grieve. He fires back. I as a interpersonal psychology moment, I like that he said, let me have my own fucking personal day off. I'm sorry. I know I'm the king, but give me a fucking minute right now.
I'm not speaking for you, but and this is Abby, but as a person who lost a spouse, you don't get a day off. Shit,
that's not true.
I get that.
That's not true. I mean,
but
like,
he's the king. He can also say, you guys should be able to fucking figure this out for a goddamn day. Give me a fucking day.
Yes.
Like, that's where I'm at
there
with it.
There were times
like,
that I checked out, and even, like, to my own mother, who would be my counsel, I feel like, was like, I just can't. And that was it.
Just give me a fucking minute. Just give me can you do anything? Give me a fucking minute.
Yeah.
Like,
I would say though, there's been so many times when they've been talking about bullshit, and he doesn't. Unless it's personal, then that's when he cares.
If it's not in his purview, it is showing his selfishness.
Yeah,
I think.
I mean, I get what you're saying. Like, I need a day off or whatever. But at the
I
same
think I would
time,
take tomorrow off.
If that's the case, then just don't even have the meeting. No.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I agree.
No, I'm not fucking coming. If I'm out, I'm
you
not
can
coming.
check out, but that doesn't mean that the responsibilities aren't there. That doesn't mean, like,
there you go.
It's just, you can check out, but everything is just either on hold. Like, there are times, I don't know. I see what you're saying, Benji. Like, as the king, it doesn't matter. Like, you get to grieve, you get to have your time.
But as a king, you don't get to choose.
But what happens if
Damon,
like, to Otto's worst nightmare, Damon just like, fuck it, I'm killing him now.
Right.
And fucking lops his head off. By succession rules, he's king.
Mm-hmm.
And he has every right to fucking do it.
Right.
And so it's, you have to get this shit done, locked in. And it sucks. It's the hard truth. We gotta get this hammered down. I do like Corlys again. He's a standout for me. He's like, well, Damon's your heir. He's doing this, and then he's like,
well, that's because he loves his wife.
Yeah,
because he's like, there's only one fucking choice because she was passed over. So that if she's gonna be passed over, sorry, you're gonna be passed over too. I love him.
Yeah, like something to think about too.
Well, and isn't he the one that kind of brings up the Rhaena card too? Like he
Rainy.
that brings it up.
Rainy.
No,
no, Rhaena.
Rhaena, he does bring her up. Then he's like, then her.
He kind of plants the seed
It's
of
so sneaky.
Rhaenyra.
Yeah,
Rhaenyra.
Rhaenyra.
Oh man, it's
Rhaenyra.
so
Kind of plants the
Rhaena's
seed.
like 2, 3 generations up. The names are tricky. I'm sorry.
I'm gonna fuck this up.
I know. I'm just making sure that I understand who you're talking about.
8 years coming, I'm gonna fuck this up.
I'm not mad at you. I'm just making sure I understand who you're talking about.
Yeah, he says drop
He
her
plants
name.
the seed of Rhaenyra being in there into Viserys' head because he knows Viserys isn't gonna pick his wife. He knows he's not, but he brings up his wife to say she has a better claim than you did.
Right.
And he's planting those seeds, and then he had the Lord of or the Master of Laws, whatever his fucking name was, Horde or whatever. He's like a girl, very Samuel Tarly, a girl.
Strong.
We're gonna bring.
Was it how strong?
I think strong.
They have Harrenhal right now. In this, they have Harrenhal.
Yes.
They didn't talk about in the show, but that's.
They did. No, it was mentioned.
Was it?
Maybe not. No, I think maybe a video I saw.
How strong runs Harrenhal right now?
Harrenhal, yes.
It is burnt down already because that was Aegon the Conqueror that did that early on.
Was it
Again,
him though?
when the
castle just
Was
opened.
it him though?
Yeah.
Or was his wife?
Yeah, when the castle just
was
opened
him.
for Journey, Aegon came in and burned
It
it
was
down.
Yeah, it was Aegon
anyway.
himself.
I think something to keep in
but
mind.
I like that.
Something to keep in mind though too
White.
is they don't realize that Daemon is
I don't want
listening
that, but I'm just saying. I
to the
respect it.
entire conversation between basically.
Yes, Glenn, continue. Sorry.
Preach, brother.
Yes, that's all I was. Preach.
Yes. Go ahead.
Sorry, Glenn.
You just got. I don't know. You got some reaction from Gertrude over
Okay.
here. So
No.
lean into
You
it.
are on the track.
Fucking lean
Yes.
into it.
He's listening to both of them talk about him, and he's supposed to have a ball that he's supposed to put on the table. I mean,
Right?
right?
Well,
that he
Daemon was lurking in the shadows on this one. This is
Yeah.
the one where he's
Oh,
standing.
we're only like halfway through the episode. We gotta hurry up a little bit.
No, we got two scenes
No,
left.
we have 2 scenes.
We got
My
like
biggest
100
problem
scenes
with
left.
that specifically is you have made this entire Red Keep. You have made the most spectacular thing. You have all the monetary things that you need, and you cannot get a secure council room? Are you fucking, how stupid?
But he's on the council.
But they don't know he's there. It's not just like a small room. There's all the
He may have been
grates
sitting there
and
for an
frames
hour.
Hey guys,
and
I'm gonna sit on the
windows.
side on this
Like,
one.
He
You're
may
not-
have come in and said, "Here's my ball.
No,
I'm going to."
my
I'm
problem
gonna
is
put my
that
ball
it's
down
not
and
in
just
a-
I gotta go to the bathroom.
tiny room that's completely secure. Like, that is so stupid to me.
You're not wrong.
Great
you're not
lords
wrong.
are stupid.
I'm just going to put this in this expansive hall with all these hiding sills and
Well, how else are we gonna have people
half-walls
that
and
come in? How else
stupid.
can we get by if people aren't coming in to bring us our
I don't really
drinks?
think it's plot armor,
No.
but it's absolutely whatever else you would call plot armor.
It's-
Like, oh, here, let's make some
It's
It's plot opportunity. It's plot
I don't know.
opportunity.
opportunity.
opportunity. So my other
So
note to this
annoying.
scene, though, this is where I
Put
finally
your balls
realized
on the
that
table.
the first time watching
That's all
it.
he says. Put your balls on
Put
the
your balls
The
on
only
the table.
actor in the
All right, guys.
So
We're here for the podcast.
Pop them out. Let me see them balls.
All right,
So-
guys. I'm glad
so
to see you guys again. Balls on the table. All right, let's go.
So really, my first and only note for this scene was this is where I first realized I recognized Otto Hightower as the only actor that I've seen before. And first, he is Luna Lovegood's dad. in Harry
Xenophilius
Potter-
Lovegood.
Xenophilia,
Who is?
Yes.
Sorry.
Otto von
Otto
Hightower.
Hightower?
the hand.
No.
But he's also
I
he
didn't
is
know this.
also Little Nicky's brother. That's where I recognize it. Like the face.
Little
I'm like,
Nicky?
I didn't
Little
recognize him
Nicky.
from Little Nicky's brother, the one with the red robe and blonde hair. I'm like, that's where the fuck it is. Because I looked him up. I'm like, I know that actor. I don't know where I know him from. I started scrolling through and I saw Little Nicky. I'm like, motherfucker, yeah. And I'm like, okay. And then I saw, oh, he's also Xenophilius Lovegood. Okay, like that one just shocked me. I was like,
That's Otto
okay, that-
Hightower?
that's-
No, I noticed
is
in
Otto
him in the replacements. He
Yes,
was
and
like
I
the,
saw your note, Glenn, and you're
the
absolutely
field goal.
right.
He was the field goal kicker.
He's the field goal kicker.
Huh.
Smoke. He'd smoke as he's putting
Nigel,
in
I
the
think it
field
was
goals.
his name. Or
Yes,
something.
Really?
Nigel.
That's him?
Yes,
Wow.
Yeah,
that's him.
absolutely, that's him.
Yep. The only actor in the show that I've ever that I was like,
This fucking
I
guy.
know him from something. You know,
At
yeah.
first I was
it's like-
afraid. I was petrified. I was purified.
Lord Bisbee also is of great interest to me. Beesbury. What? Yeah, Bisbee. Like I read what I want.
What's
Okay.
up, What's up, Beesby?
I read what I fucking want, not what's on the page. Okay. Beesbury. He is
So,
also in my
alright.
show that I love. I love him.
Lauren,
I think his name's
what actor?
Bill
what character?
Patterson. Lord
What were you talking-
Beesbury.
Oh, Lee's. Is he the?
Bill.
I have no idea what his
Is he on
title
the council? Is,
Yes.
Is he on the council?
Yep.
Okay. So he's not the master of laws.
Bill
he's the other guy.
Beesbury?
He's the master. That'd be the master of coin.
Possibly.
He'd be the master.
Beesby.
Yeah, master of coin.
It's Ned Gowan.
That
He's
guy.
a lawyer in real life. I mean, just saying.
We talked about this, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So all right, I just had the note. I'm like, I want to get that out because this whole show, the whole cast of this episode, is phenomenal. They're great. But the only one that I can say I've seen him in something else was Otto Hightower. And it took me till this scene to realize
Who he
I
was.
know that guy. Yeah, well, I didn't even know who he was. I'm like, I just know, where the fuck do I know him from? And I had to look him up. You know, everybody else is like, I don't know, but they're all great actors. And I looked up a lot of their credentials. They've all done shit. It's just all been British and
Well, Damon.
stage. And
It's all been
Damon
British.
Damon was
Targaryen.
Dr.
I don't
Who.
speak British.
He
I'm
is
sorry.
Prince Philip in The Crown.
Yeah, Melissa was talking about the crown in the chat.
Oh my god,
earlier.
it's beautiful. But then this is the best
I
part. Are
never
you
watched
ready?
it.
So every 2 seasons they switch actors because they move up in age. Whatever. The next person who plays Prince Philip is Tywin Lannister.
Are you talking
Nice.
about the dance man?
Yeah, it's cool. Like
Charles
this.
Dance.
When I saw him, I'm
The
like,
Charles
oh, okay.
Dance of the Dragons.
You
You
can
can
dance.
Charles dance if you want to. You can
Okay,
leave
so
your
anything
Charles
else
dance
about
behind.
the council? Because we're really talking just now on the council scene.
So what I wanted to point out was I really had a moment, now that we've brought up Charles Dance and Tywin,
Yeah.
Man.
I feel like Otto is playing the Charles Dance Tywin kind of card.
Microfinger.
Oh my God.
No, I'm not that just surprises
Wow,
me.
I'm so wrong.
No, I don't.
You're- Glenn,
No,
thanks
I
for
don't-
pointing it out. I'm so wrong. It's amazing.
I think he's honestly playing more
So you're
of
saying Otto
a Ned
Hightower
Stark.
is
He's playing
No,
the
he's
he is
grimy
not
as
honorable.
fuck. He sends
Yes,
his
he's
Tywin
daughter.
Lannister is
No,
grimy as fuck. His whole thing was to set up.
Hang on.
No. You never let me finish my fucking point.
Sorry, Luke.
No
I
one let me finish my
interrupted.
point. So, Tywin Lannister, love him or hate him, his whole thing was to get the Lannisters in power.
That's the next scene. That's the next thing.
But
we're
this is
talking
his
about.
point. That's okay.
No, I know, but
I'm
what
looking at the
trying to
fucking note that you have written right here. Only show that I ever fucking recognize.
Oh, comfort. Sorry.
Yeah,
No,
Comfort.
I'm not
you're
on
right.
Comfort yet. I'm not on Comfort
No.
yet.
This is. Yep. You're correct. I am mistaken. You are
All right.
correct.
All right, we're on that one, right?
Yes.
which one?
Yes.
Benji, where are we at? Describe the scenes that we're talking about.
Seven stages of grief. Funeral is held, council is held to discuss, and the hand sends some comfort the king's way. I missed that last bit. So Tywin-wise, yes.
Same
I
thing.
was going more Ned from the council, where
I know.
Daemon's not honorable, Daemon is not to be trusted,
I know.
and so that's where my brain is. If you're going Tywin for the next part of it,
I'm
Makes
going
sense.
Otto Hightower,
Otto
where
Bracken.
he encourages Alicent to go and comfort the king. It's a very Tywin or Mace Tyrell.
Not Mace.
What do you mean?
Not Mace.
Maester Tyrell.
oh, absolutely.
Tyrell, not Mace. Not Mace Tyrell. He was a
Benji, what am I missing?
blubbering,
Bumbling,
Blubber.
but he was very ambitious for his family.
I never saw that in the show. That's why.
That's
why
fair. That's fair. That's fair.
His
Why do you
Mother.
think? Why do you
I
think his
don't-
daughter
no,
married two kings? Three
the
kings.
Queen of
married
Thorns
three kings.
does not respect her son Mace Tyrell,
no.
but a lot of it was him reaching. That doesn't really show up in the show. That's
No,
fair.
that's- I would
In the
say
book, it's more she
more
looks at him as like, wow, just
bubbling
like,
idiot.
yeah.
Blubbering.
But he
You're
is
blubbering.
reaching. He is the one that's
Okay.
reaching from the reach. I know there's a joke on
Is
that
there
too.
a reach around?
And he does
Probably.
become hand, so it's an
But-
apt comparison.
Yeah,
My
no, I'm
point
sorry.
being, it's a very Mace Tyrell. It's
Yeah.
a very Tywin Lannister. Get your daughter to be the one that's going to be the one that the king looks to,
Posterity.
because that's how you get in, right? It's a
Exactly.
place building.
Get
It's
your
a
bloodline.
it's a bloodline thing, and I just really got that from the moment when we had that scene with Alicent and Otto, where he says, maybe you should wear one of your mother's dresses.
Mhm.
And
Yes.
Bring your favorite book.
also go suck his dick or something. Like, that's kind of what he says.
You know, so what I was gonna,
That's
kind
word
of
for word he said it.
Th-
the only
that-
thing I was
that's
disagreeing with you, Luke, was the
verbatim.
scene thing. Yes, no, you're absolutely right. My mistake for thinking the scene was next block, but in the council room, I was talking. Otto is a very playing up the very noble Ned Stark. I don't trust Damon because this and this and this. He's just all that, and he's not being
And a bag of chips.
disingenuous. He's not being disingenuous with his thought process. But yes, the next scene, he is very much being a Tywin or a Mace, more so a Tywin of, hey, go, seduce this guy. Mace was like, hey, I got the
guess-
money, I got the power, you can marry 3 kings and you're still the flower. Boom! I pulled that one out my ass.
I like it. My
Oh,
biggest
but-
thing with the Tywin thing is I just never saw him as sure, he would have done anything to hire his seat or his family's seat, but I did not see him whoring out his daughter. And that's the problem in the
It's-
show.
That's
It
why I
was
said
subtle.
both. That's why I said both. Because
Yeah.
he was always putting himself in the best position
Yeah.
to do his best job. But he was never against upping the Lannister seat.
Right,
What
no.
we didn't see in the show was Cersei
Cersei
was
getting to
supposed to
Bran-
marry who?
I don't know that one, I don't think. Probably if I thought it
Rhaegar.
through.
Rhaegar Targaryen.
No. Wow, okay.
She was
I probably just forgot.
betrothed
Yep.
to
No,
him.
she was not. She was turned down.
He tried.
Yeah,
He tried
he
to
tried.
get her
Aerys
to
turned
be
it down.
betrothed to Rhaegar Targaryen, and
Interesting.
Aerys said no.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that whole
Tywin
Lyanna
was
scene,
always reaching
like
out.
that is even
Ty-
deeper dig.
So,
Sorry.
without knowing that
Woo.
book knowledge that
Yeah.
didn't really show up in the show, but he was always reaching up,
Yeah.
and he was always creating a better seat for his
Yeah.
family.
Absolutely.
And why wouldn't you, right? Like, that's his job as the patriarch in the
Right.
family, on a family that he didn't respect his dad because his dad was a laughing stock.
Right.
It was fucking terrible.
He's not gonna
And he
do
said,
that.
Goal
I
in
will
life
never
in
be
this
laughed
realm
at.
Is to
I will never be
encourage
laughed at.
Right.
or improve.
So, Tywin was always reaching up, but he also earned a lot of that in his own right. Otto Hightower seems to be doing some of that right now,
Yes.
where he's
Okay,
putting
I
his
can see-
daughter in the limelight, as Geddy Lee would say from Rush, to
Gradually.
be in the sights
Where'd that come
of
from?
Viserys Targaryen, who might be looking for
Glenn's
things.
got goodies in his cooler.
Glenn's. Let me tell you about Glenn's goodies.
Are you an expert on them?
No,
Oh, okay.
I just live with him for 8
Okay,
years.
Otto Hightower
I'm gonna sell Glenn's goodies.
to the king.
New cookie shop coming towards
Anyways.
you.
Glenn's goodies. No, but like, I think it's important to talk about how Otto is kind of putting his daughter in the purview of the king right now. And this is from the book, there are rumors from, his name is Mushroom, a court jester.
Oh yeah, mushroom.
It was a dwarf mushroom, that Alicent Hightower also comforted King Jaehaerys on his deathbed.
What?
Potentially
Oh,
in.
she's also older. She's also older than
Right. Okay.
book-wise.
Right. Because we are in a
I know,
different time. Whatever.
I
well,
was.
no, book-wise, she's like 26 at this point. That's
We're
make
talking
that-
about. You missed a little bit of that conversation, Ben.
Yeah.
no, I
but-
didn't.
She
I
gives
heard- I
me
heard the-
real
wireless
strong
headphones. I heard the whole
Marjorie
thing.
vibes.
Yes, very much Marjorie and like a Marjorie Sansa.
No, no.
Well, Sansa for the
Get
proper,
Sansa out of your fucking mouth.
How about girl from show?
Girl from show.
girl from show. No,
And who
not
can
quite
name
girl
her
from
right
show.
now?
Fuck. Jane. Nope, not Jane. Jane Westerly was the girl based on.
Girl from show.
Fuck.
Glenn, you got it. Glenn, you got it. What's girl from show's real name?
Girl from
I know
show.
what it is. Talisa.
It's Talisa.
Talisa.
Look at
There you
me
go.
knowing shit too.
Who
Nice.
knows?
Bam. Sorry, Glenn. You probably did know it.
Who
I was-
invited Abby? Why does Gertrude know things?
Anyways, like,
I thought you've been drinking for 2 years.
here's my thing. Like, you're saying all this stuff, but you've also like kind of you're also saying like from the books, like blah blah blah. Like from this though, like I mean, you can get a little bit of that, like, oh, he's trying to whore out his daughter to the king, but it's not really that much. It's just like, oh, just go and be there for him. Am
You
I
think-
wrong there?
But I'm asking,
I
like,
think
what do
you're
you
wrong.
think his intention is with that? Then, what's his intention? What? Go comfort the king and wear one of your mother's dresses. What is his intention with that? That's what I'm asking.
I just think that you're saying this though because you've read the
No,
stuff
I really no.
and you know what's.
I'm really. I didn't read this until. I mean, I've read it before, but at the same
Until
time, I'm
yesterday.
coming back to it. But I'm also just watching what I'm seeing on screen. I'm trying to just be what I see on screen. The only thing that influences me on what I'm thinking.
I would say like he's just like saying just do this. Just because just in case. I don't know.
I think his intention is clear.
He's planting the seed.
I-
Because
I
wants
think
to
he
improve
literally
his
said-
family's position.
Get closer on the mic, Abby.
I think he literally says, "Hey, you're not Little Red Riding Hood. We're not bringing a basket of goodies to grandmother. Like,
You're bringing a
Yeah,
pussy.
he doesn't say
you're
that.
bringing a pussy. like go come like in context. Like, it's the same way they're like, no, you'll just go down there and like entertain the men. What the hell
Basically-
does that mean?
Yeah.
Like,
I think the
I took it
implied
differently.
the implication is, I think, definite. Am I wrong?
I took it that way. Like, I perceived it in like a, oh wow,
Shoot your shot.
cool.
It's a hey, shoot your shot.
It's not a shoot your shot. It's a I want you to go use your pussy power to get us a better seat in life.
5, 4,
Yes,
3,
but
1.
at the same
Pussy
point-
power.
Yes, like it's
It might not work.
disgusting.
That's the
It's
thing.
not a shoot
It
your
is a
shot.
shoot
Like
your-
see,
It
no,
is a shoot your shot in the sense of go use your pussy power, see what you can get done.
no. I just, maybe I'm
it's-
taking shoot your shot differently.
It's the
I
hand
think
spray. It's
I think
if you're
you
in
guys
the
are
chat
saying
room
the
and
same
you see-
thing in a different
Yeah.
way.
I just take
Yeah.
shoot your shot as like, hey, that's a good looking girl. Really, like let me try. Versus-
My thought is Benji is meaning let's take our family shot at being the part
Yes.
that we get into the
We're just
Targaryen
arguing
lineage.
semantics at this point.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
That's where I'm going with it. It's you shoot your shot, and hey, if he turns it down, okay, we'll figure out from there. But it's
Let's
do your
just send
best.
my young fertile daughter to keep him company.
Exactly.
Thank you, George. Lynch.
But again,
I mean,
but,
like,
but
it
Luke,
really-
to your point about Jaehaerys, though, again, Alicent is aged down, and Mackenzie said this in the chat, is aged down about 10 years comparatively to what she's shown here. Right now, she's shown as like 16, 17 years old. She was like 27, 28.
That doesn't
So,
matter. Her
let's-
dad is like, I literally would do
No.
anything for my dad. Maybe not that,
I
but
get that.
like,
Yeah.
Meatloaf.
But I'm saying to the Jaehaerys
I
point,
won't
because
do
Jaehaerys,
for lunch.
because Luke, no, my protection or my defending of the whole point of Jaehaerys is Luke said, "Oh, she also did this for Jaehaerys, like
Oh,
comforted
well, yeah.
him."
That's
she
a
would've
book
been
speculation. That's a
I know, but I'm clarifying for listeners and everything that she would have been 7 at that time, and that's just wrong. At that point, she would have been 17, maybe 18 for
Yeah.
Oh,
Jaehaerys.
we were
at the
in this
time.
timeline
That's-
here.
People in the chat are
That's
like,
what I'm trying to just clarify. You know,
Gotcha.
that's
like she's much older or
You're
whatever.
right.
Like she looks like she's about the same age as Rhaenyra.
and that's-
that's what
they're best
because they're best friends.
And-
I'd assume they'd be the same age. And, she just looks young. I don't know.
Yeah, within a year or two, right? Like with Rhaenyra right now, and I think
yeah. So
the timeline
I
on
just think that
them.
makes it so much worse. Though,
We just go ahead. Sorry.
Otto Hightower whoring her out to the king because she looks so
it's
much
not
younger.
as
But
creep-
he's
not
pulling.
as
He's pulling a
creepy.
fucking. He's being a high lord of the realm.
Yeah, but I mean the
Yeah.
show. I'm saying that she looks so much younger. It looks
And that's the-
worse than her being
But that's
28.
kind of
Right.
the nature of it, which is fucking. It's weird for us to see, but that's the nature of what they've always done.
Yeah.
Like
because once
you-
you
that's-
get
that's
flowering,
fine.
once you
well,
get
I
that,
agree. It
you're-
does
you're a
look weird.
woman.
I'm with
It
you.
looks much more. It looks much worse than.
Being
Yes, but once you
a
get
woman of
flowering,
your
it
own
doesn't
mind,
matter.
wanting to
It-
be queen
you
and
know.
being like, good idea.
Abby, women don't have their own minds.
Exactly.
I mean, have you seen this episode? Stop.
Obviously.
Hey, stop. Don't be
I
ridiculous.
know, obviously. But there's a much difference between telling your young teenage daughter, go do this, and pushing her into that versus being like, it might be a good idea. And
Hey,
her
you
taking
might,
on her own,
you
like,
might have an opportunity to seduce the king.
mm-hmm. So
Maybe you should think about
going to
You should have said
offer
he's got
comfort.
lesions on his back.
Can you go help his
Hey,
lesion?
There's a lesion on his back that's growing. Can you help with that?
I like
Go-
space
go
like,
tickle
dust.
the
you know,
cut.
I like space dust
Go.
by the brewery called Legion.
All right, let's move on. I got children to pick up.
Moving on. All right, so we got 2 scenes to go. The next, unless anybody else has anything else, we good?
Go.
I have
1,
no
2, 3.
thoughts.
All right.
Ask Phil H about that.
All right, next series
H
of
doesn't
scenes
deserve
is
thoughts.
Long didn't live the future king.
Ouch.
Daemon treats his troops and gives a speech that makes his way back to the king. So I'm going to call out a comment from DA. Yes, I saw the butthole. There was a straight and obvious butthole that showed up on that scene.
The
To
Eye
that,
of Saruman?
first of all, yeah, there was an Eye of Saruman, a community college.
Sorry, man.
A community college flag sitting there. But shout outs to the couple that didn't really stop riding. They just paused mid-stroke while Daemon just gave his proclamation. I'm gonna call that out there. Just like, yep.
Well,
And the
they're
guy who calls
exhibitionists.
out-
That's what they were begging for. They were
The
looking for
whole
this
thing
moment.
was, and the guy who calls out, "Shut up, your prince is speaking," literally was getting a job done as he says it, and he pulls the girl up as to call out so she can listen too, without. And it's like, okay, the debauchery is still there, which from the horny aspect guy, it's like, yeah, that's just funny and impressive and just like, I know a lot of people are like, oh, well, it was so fucking. It's just funny, like just watching the scenes as they're happening. It's like, okay, that's actually really fucking funny. The guy's getting a fucking job done, and he's like, "Hey, yo, Prince is talking. Shut the fuck up."
This
You know,
whole
it's like-
scene, this whole scene reminded me a bit of. I'm gonna say 2 different things. It reminded me of the going into the battle of the Blackwater,
Yes.
right? Like where we have Braun talking about his nose being halfway up that girl's ass
Mhm.
that night, and it also reminds me of Pirates of the Caribbean a little bit. Just like it had like a pirate bar scene, a little bit like what's the show?
Black Sails.
Oh,
Black
Black Sails.
Sails and Pirates of the Caribbean.
Okay.
The it kind of had that vibe to it to me.
I'm really glad
Personally.
you bring that up
Does
because
that-
I've always wanted to tell somebody what my pirate name is. So I'm gonna do it now.
Whoa. Hold on. I just gotta.
You ready? Everybody?
I just
Don't
gotta.
worry. It's really good.
Can I pour a full beer for this?
Like,
Because I'm not emotionally ready
This
for
is-
this.
a joke that people talk about, like, if you laugh at your own jokes, you're not funny. But you are hearing my joke come out of my mouth the same time I am, because I don't
Do you
think
hear the words that are coming out of my
before I
mouth?
speak. But this one I have thought about, and my pirate
If it
name
really
would
sucks,
be,
that's
it's going to be
embarrassing.
bad, and it's fine. You can be like, oh, womp womp, that's fine.
Okay.
It would be Bad Bread. That's my pirate name. Do you want to know why?
Do tell. Pray tell.
Pray tell. Because I would try to spell bad beard, and I would spell it wrong, and it would be bread. And I do it every time, and thank God for modern technology that I can actually spell beard. But back in the day, my name, without a doubt, would have been Bad Bread.
Bad bread.
Bad
Is
bread.
on.
Yep.
Oh,
Bad
man.
bread is on fire.
I don't know if they would have known that song.
I'd made it up, but it would have been Bad Bread.
All right, Bad Bread, calm
Yep.
down.
Sorry.
Stay in your lane, Bad Bread.
It's my only
Stay in
stand-up
your
joke.
lane.
It's my
Security of house.
dyslexic.
Bad Bread.
Security of house, Bad Bread.
I like
Joke I have.
the dyslexic part of it. Like
That's
Yeah.
that's my dyslexic stand-up joke because
there you go.
Bad
Nice,
bread.
Yeah. What you have to start with that. Like because I'm dyslexic.
But my audience knows
Badithan bread.
here at least.
I didn't think about it until you said it. And I've known you for several years now.
About her whole life.
Yep.
All right.
Anyway,
What are we even
So-
talking about right now?
We're talking about
Daemon Targaryen
Daemon's speech,
at the
and then the
whorehouse.
confrontation,
And we
of,
have
you know,
the
auto reporting it to the king, and the king
for
confronting
the heir of a
Daemon about
day.
that.
The heir
The heir of a
for
day
The
is
heir
what was
for a
talked
day.
about.
That kind of reminds me of a Metallica song, "Hero of the Day,"
Yeah,
which is a great song.
that's a great
but-
song. Anyways, my note was basically Dame was beat to the narrative on this one. And
Right.
He probably didn't know that he had to like kind of.
No idea what she's chuckling about. Leave it alone. Keep going, man.
He probably didn't know that he had to like get in front of the narrative. But Otto beat him to the narrative of for the king.
Basically,
Like,
yeah,
hey,
absolutely.
where we really don't see him say those words. We see
Right.
him like get up, get a speech, but
And
they
it
kind
seemed
of
like
cut
all
away.
of the guys around him were raucously being drunk, but it didn't seem like he necessarily was.
And he was kind of
he was
been
kind of
to
being
himself.
chill,
He was somber.
wasn't he?
He was somber. Like, I'd
And
almost
you know
put it as
they're
somber.
kind of forcing him to say something or whatever.
Yeah.
And we really don't know
Put it on the
how
spot. Put it on the
it
spot.
went. Where he could have been like, I think he did cheers to.
But he's certainly
The son.
ambitious. Certainly ambitious.
He's ambitious, yes, and he
But
knows
it's-
his
it's-
place.
At the same, we don't know anything of what he said and how he said it, and but
Context is a big
You know,
fucking
like-
bitch, isn't
like,
it?
and Jake in the chat says, now I think there was a reason we didn't see the speech entirely. The writers are misdirecting the audience, which is a fair point. And my comment to him there was, I can absolutely agree with that. I hadn't thought about it until I read that comment, but I could see him being to the air for a day, like more of a, instead of the cheerful, boastful, he died.
No,
More of a,
there is a way you can
respect
say
to
it
my-
that it would actually be like, hey,
like to my nephew.
to my
he was an heir
nephew,
for a day.
heir for a day. Like, there's a way that you could frame it to not be
Yeah.
not make it a boastful thing.
I also think that there's something to be said for some dark ass humor. Like-
Right?
Oh, yeah.
Like,
And then you could take a lot of things that any
What-
of us
what
have
happens at
said
the whorehouse stays at the whorehouse.
so out
Hey.
of context, like that
Yeah.
it
yeah.
would sound
I'm just saying
terrible.
with the gold cloaks, they're the people
Glenn,
that want to hear.
we've been to a whorehouse, okay? We know. It's okay. That's not true at all. That's not true at all.
I've been. It's fine.
You took me. I didn't want to go. I didn't want to go.
Anyways, though, like
I didn't want to
Probably
go.
true.
the story was
North
portrayed
Carolina.
to the
Fucking
king
hell.
from the hand of the king, who has a feud with Daemon, and I mean it kind of made Daemon look like an asshole.
It comes to a head in this moment, right? Like,
Yeah.
it
Credit
comes.
to Damon for not denying that he said it.
Right.
Sorry.
No, but you're fine. Like, because like it comes down to, again, context is everything. But the way
Yeah.
Daemon reacts to it, it kind of shows his cards.
Was like, yeah, I said it.
It's
Yeah,
very much
he's like,
like it's
I did say
exactly
it.
what Viserys' worst thoughts on it were.
Yeah.
But then he also follows it up with, I've been fucking awesome for you.
Yeah.
I've been,
Well, both of them kind of back and forth. Who are you talking about when you say that?
when I'm talking about from Daemon's perspective, he's talking to Viserys
Yeah.
and he goes, yeah, but you fucking sent me away. But I've been awesome for you, okay? You sent me
But
away over and over again. I should have been at your side, but over and over again, you sent me away. I have a lot to fucking offer, and you sent me away.
And he's not wrong. But in Viserys' mindset, from his point of view, he's like, I've defended you because you've done extreme things,
and
or
that's
you've done this.
what I'm
And
working
so
towards.
they're-
It goes both
Yeah,
ways.
I get that.
It goes both ways. And
So both are right, but both are not listening.
but only
to the,
one is king.
That's the
Exactly.
problem.
Only one is king. And Daemon right now is being a bit selfish or
Big for his britches.
And
but he's earned it in his mind.
Yeah.
Because he's done the fucking work. And he was sent away. And he always felt that
That was a sad thing, like, to hear. Like, I felt like that was a very delivered, very genuinely.
you sent me away.
I've wanted to be here. I've wanted, like, my want or need was to be near you. And
I
all
could have
I've
been
gotten
better,
from
and you sent me away.
is neglect.
And
Please be gone.
You chose
Yeah.
for me not
And so
to be here.
Now this is how I
could've
am,
been
and
the
you can't
best
accept it.
Hand of the king that you've ever had. Because we know there's a big
But then
contention
he's like-
between Otto and Daemon.
Well, yeah.
We know that. So we know that
And
Daemon
I
thinks
love-
that he's
I
better
love-
than Otto. Benji, go ahead.
And I
I'm
love
sorry.
Daemon's. No, you're fine. And I love Daemon's thing. Like, you know, I see Otto for what he is, and Viserys goes, a loyal and useful hand, a cunt. You know, and
He's a cunt.
he's a cunt.
Call him
And
as I
going to
see
Jake's
him.
point, Jake in the chat here, he says, I see why Otto doesn't want Daemon around. He wouldn't have lived long if Daemon was the hand of the king. I do disagree with that because at that point, Otto would have been out of Daemon's purview.
Don't
He
die on
wouldn't
my
have,
watch.
wouldn't have fucking cared about it. But Otto is more in Daemon's crosshairs at this point right now, if he, you know, as the hand of the king, apart from if he wasn't. But at the same point, I do love that line where he's like, oh, he's a loyal and a cunt.
Onions.
And he sees
You sniff
Daemon,
them.
or he sees Otto for what he is at a point of a second son who receives nothing, you know, apart from just trying to improve his family stature. That's the goal of a second son. Coming from a second son, the goal is to improve your family stature.
Benj,
It,
seconds and
I am the second son. I am the second son.
Luke 13.
You know, I'm not getting the Sears fucking debt card. I'm not getting the Sears debt card. I'm not getting the Macy's debt card. I just have the name to work with. That's it. So, you know, I need to, you know, improve my stature for my family. And that's what Otto's going for. And Daemon calls that out. That's all that Otto wants is to
right.
improve
And
his
that's
stature.
when it comes back to the scene before this where Otto sends Alicent to the king.
Exactly.
It's Otto reaching, and Daemon sees that and he says, he's a cunt. He's the one that's fucking reaching to up his family's thing. That's I'm not.
Yeah, and
I'm a bit
Daemon-
on both sides. I'm a bit on both sides.
Yeah, and
Daemon's
Daemon
done some
pulling out
bad
the rest-
things. Daemon's
Yes.
done some bad things, but he does
calling out
see
the rest of the council.
he does see his brother's weaknesses, and he's surrounded by lickspittles. He's surrounded by people that are just pampering him to make him feel like, Viserys, you're so cool. You're surrounded by people that are so good at this because we're the people surrounding you, and we're good at this. And Daemon is the one that's just saying right now, No, they're fucking pieces of shit.
And like, not only does he call
They're
out,
using you.
I know, but he calls out the
They'll
whole,
laugh at you.
the whole
They're all
group,
going to
right?
laugh at
he
you.
calls the whole group. It's not even.
It's not only.
He
It's
calls out Otto to start,
Otto,
but he also says they're all
but
fucking
it's,
worthless.
yeah, it's the handful of them.
Because they're all just sucking you off because you're the king. They don't really deserve the jobs. That is what he's, in my opinion, what he's talking about. They haven't really earned it. Corlys Valerian is probably the only one right now that has earned his position. The other ones are just there.
Because we got beeswax or whatever his name is.
bees balls,
Bisbee?
Bisbee.
Bisbee.
Bees?
So
Sorry.
I'm going to call
It's
out a
Maester-
comment in the
Maester
chat.
Mellows
I
is one
don't
of them.
remember who it was. I
Mellows
think
and
it was Jake Cruz. Oh,
Jonathan
go ahead,
Strong.
sorry. And Jonathan Strong. Jonathan, oh, god damn it. Jonathan Ryder Strong from Boy Meets World. There we go.
Ryder Strong.
Right.
Jonathan Ryder Strong.
Sean Hunter.
Yeah.
Sean
Was it?
There, yes, he was.
The
Ryder
actor?
Strong was.
Ryder Strong
Yeah,
was the
Ryder
kid.
Strong
The
was
actor's
Sean Hunter.
name.
I totally
Was
didn't
Sean.
even see that. I did not even see that. Okay. All right.
No.
No, he's not.
What didn't you
He's not
see?
in the series. He's played in Boy
Ryder
Meets
Strong
World.
was the actor who
Jim
played Boy
Strong
Meets World.
is the guy on the council. It's not Jim Strong,
There
but
you
it's.
go.
I didn't know
You
the
get what I'm
reference. I
saying.
didn't know the reference. Yeah.
So, no,
Got
that's
it.
fine. So
Got it
I'm
now.
going to call a comment earlier on. I think it was Jake Cruz, but they had said, fuck, I'm drawing a brunk now. It was
A brunk.
A brunky blank.
I'm drawing a brunk.
I do like.
drawing a brunk.
Well, you search for what you
Fuck.
need.
We are on
I
a
had it-
great start,
I had a thing
guys.
on Ryder Strong,
Team,
and
we're
If we, you look through,
What's
Bench,
more
take your time. I
Boy
like,
Meets
Give me a
World
second.
facts.
no, you're good. I like
Take it over.
Miss Mackenzie L. Burns'
and
comment.
she was on one of my favorite episodes of all time.
Yeah.
I believe it was season 6. Arya was in Bravos, is what I know. So
Ooh.
it's well before season 6. She
Well,
was.
she's in the chat, so she might be able to tell more specifically because she'll know which one she was
She
on.
got the
but
trivia question right, and it was a hard.
it was
trivia
a hard
question.
one. Yep. But she right here says Daemon himself being a second son, understanding Otto's ambition.
I think the word
Closer.
you're looking for is Secondson.
Secondson, right? Closer than anyone
Otto
else. Like,
Secondson.
sure, being the heir, never contested heir, given all that power, like, you don't necessarily see those signs because within yourself you don't have those same worries. So I think that's a very interesting point.
Yeah.
Like, that's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely.
And whatever Jake
it's
said
awesome.
earlier,
It's
that
really good.
might have been
Yep.
Jake or might not have been Jake.
Jake Cruz.
Yeah, but you're
Could've
still
been-
looking
I'm-
for
I'm-
it. But it's
I
okay.
was, and I'm out. I had it, and then we got on Ryder Strong, and it's gone.
Let's move
So,
along then.
All right.
Let's move along.
Touchdown.
Is this
Oklahoma.
our final scene?
Final scene.
Every
last scene.
episode has a final scene, and this happens to be the final
This
scene
is
of this
one of-
episode.
one of them.
This is like your run of the mill final scene.
$15
Scene.
scene.
$15 word scene.
Final scene.
All right, cheers.
All right, and
Cheers to our final
I
scene.
named this scene "New Player Enters the Game" or "Ready Player 2." Anyway.
Luigi.
I think it's
The-
Luigi. Go ahead, Ben.
The king questions what the princess sees in the dragons, breaks down an old family prediction, names her his rightful heir, and the great lords give fealty. Daemon takes flights as ordered. So, yeah.
Abby.
Things are
most of my thoughts.
complicated. Like, if this was a Facebook relationship, it's complicated. We have just, I don't even know. Like, I'm so happy that finally, like, oh, cool. See, he's not a jerk. He doesn't think that she can't do. No, like, consolation prize here, Rhaenyra.
But it's a
Give
pretty
her
good
last option.
Oh,
consolation
no, that's
prize.
fine. No, but it took her how long? Okay, fine, cool, whatever. Like, I'm not fighting on
It is
this.
a really good consolation prize.
That's fine. But for him to finally be like, okay, I'll break down after this tragedy to finally get, okay, whatever. I don't care. I don't like him. Like, I think he's wrong on every fucking.
I'm gonna say one
Tic-tac.
quick. I'm gonna say
Yeah.
one quick thing. The leading female correct choice failed twice before this that we don't hear about. And I'm just saying, book-wise, it failed twice hard in a bad way.
There's
that
a
almost
precedence that
there's a
says-
precedent that started in 92
Yeah.
and
I'm
in
not to
101.
92. I'm only up to 17 or
I
19
know.
right now.
I know. I'm not disagreeing with you.
Yeah.
It's failed hard
Mackenzie
twice.
said she was
and
509. Sorry.
one of them almost started a war kind
Gotcha.
of thing. So that's what he's hesitant on doing. It's not necessarily Viserys choosing, it's the precedent that he has to fight against.
And that's okay. That's fine.
I'm just putting that on his
Blanket, whatever.
bauble
His
to work with.
piece. Yes, gotcha. So, anyways, like, I just think it makes things so complicated because now we're gonna name a female heir when there is a perfectly well and probably very qualified person who has been passed over before the current king.
By this point, though, the
You're talking about Rhaenys.
Rhaenys.
You're talking about Rhaenys.
I'm
The
talking about
justification, though.
Rhaenys. I know, I get
get it.
that. But what I'm saying is, I feel like we have just complicated the shit out of life here. I love it. It's great. I'm here for it. But I think
So
Rhaenys
I
is going to branch off, and Rhaenyra is going to be there. And then you have Daemon, who has his claim. Like, it is going to be another war of 4 kings, 3 kings, 19 kings. I don't know. But it does
it will be
complicate
people moving around in order on the same beat.
all fighting for the same thing. It just complicates
bunch
things.
of-
I like it. But
Yeah. So no, I get your point on that, and it's very apt. It's
yeah,
right there,
it's very
But
Game of
at the same
Thrones-ish.
point-
I like it.
very Game of Thrones.
It
But
forces you to think about a
going
lot
from-
of weird things, doesn't it?
going from the mentality, he was chosen by the Lords. It was his right. He was chosen. Then from there, at that point in his mind, it's okay. I was chosen, and now it's where does it fall from me? It's either my brother or my now daughter, because I'm not gonna have a son, or I don't have a son, so I can't just shut it over to my cousin, kind of thing. So it makes more sense to go to the daughter as a juvenile over the elderly cousin. in the
Elderly.
to-
That bitch slays. I don't even want to hear about that. No.
Well, and I think,
I'm just
like,
teasing you, Ben. Sorry.
Being having an heir though, like I think if you have to pass over your claim or whatever, that's got to be. I mean, I assume that'd be pretty detrimental to your, personal
yeah.
wealth or whatever. Like, oh, I couldn't produce an heir. I have to pass it over to my cousin or my brother or whoever.
Exactly. He at least
It's-
has
it's-
one
it'd be embarrassing.
direct lineage. Yeah, he has one direct lineage he can choose. But my note for it was, so Aegon really saw the inconvenient evening from 300 years, because that's all it really was. It was an inconvenient evening. I loved the episode when I first saw it, but the lore and all that, it's just still... But it's like he saw this coming, and then it still throws a whole wrench in the plan when Arya is the one who takes it out anyway. But my other note for the scene was, ooh, the cat's paw. Like that was my first initial. I'm like, okay, so that's been around.
So
since
we're talking about
this
you
The
say
dagger.
cat's paw. You're talking about the
The
dagger. That's
The dagger.
Yeah. Oh,
cat's paw means something completely different, but that's okay.
well, no, like,
it's a tool.
well, maybe I guess.
the term
By
cat's
official
paw means
standards.
something else completely. But the dagger
By
itself,
fandom,
the dragon
dagger
bone,
would-
the dragon bone hilt to dagger
yes,
is what we're talking
with
about.
ruby encrusted, yes, with Valerian steel, dragon bone.
I want
hilt
to
with ruby
ask
encrusted.
these two what their thoughts
Jesus Christ!
on.
Here we go.
No, what
I'm
did you think about that dagger specifically being used in this?
It was fine. I mean, I don't think it was really just kind of like a. I mean, if that's the same dagger, right?
It is. I think they
It's just
blatantly
kind
are
of a
saying
callback. It's just kind of a.
Because they're
You know,
saying
so-
the
Cool.
Song of Ice and Fire, because it's the conversation between Viserys and Rhaenyra. He goes, "This is the Song of Ice and Fire that
Right.
Aegon was talking
This
about."
dagger will be
And
a part of it.
they do bring that into it to some extent, right? Like,
I mean, it's a cool callback, especially if you're a big fan of the show. Like
and
the
what
Game
if
of
you're not
Thrones,
a big fan of the show?
Then you don't
I
give
just don't
you don't give a
understand
fuck.
how it's like you're gonna have like earlier on we heard like Viserys says blah blah blah. We brought down something about like bells tolling, which I thought was a cool callback. I can pull up my note here. He says that he has a dream when he's gonna have a boy, and there was bells tolling. That was a cool callback, I thought. But
Call back to
the bells for whom
In
the
the-
bells
in the
toll.
future.
Bells.
Like
I'm just saying, like, what do you mean a callback? Like,
and call back to what we watched,
It's
but
a-
it's in the future. So
Right,
the
a
A
future.
call forward.
that's what I'm asking.
Sorry. Yes.
It's a referral that only show watchers would understand for in the future. King's
Yes.
Landing will
Yeah.
ring the bells.
Yes. That's.
Okay,
I thought that was
I'm
cool
just- I'm just
earlier. Yes.
Asking for clarity.
And then my biggest thing, like they always talk about, like winter is coming, and I feel like here they reference it too. There'll be like a long winter or something. I just didn't see winter. I feel like sure they went north of the wall, but in my head that's not like winter has descended upon people.
Well-
like I don't get it. I don't get the whole
Yeah.
winter.
The
Glenda.
problem is
Glenda.
because
Benji, give Glenn, go.
I think like what I've like kind of read about this is they know that like there's a and like it's not like Midwestern where there's seasons and stuff.
We
like
actually
that,
have seasons.
year to year.
We have
It's
them all of them
more
all
of
the
like
time.
okay, there's like a long winter, there's a long summer, a long spring or whatever. Like that lasts years and years and years. Where there's I think when in Game of Thrones they're kind of at the end of the long ass summer that lasted years and years and years. And now they're going into a winter. And I think that's where it's like usually the bad stuff happens in the winter and like now that's happening or whatever. Where and I think like when Viserys when he's telling her Rhaenyra this stuff about, I think they don't really know when the next winter is going to come, right?
But it
Yeah.
is coming.
they've been in mild winters. Like it's at least
They're
the
always
feeling I
there
get.
to some extent, but
Yeah,
it's
but and I do like the juxtaposition again using a $15 word. Of
$13 word.
all right, fine. They use of the long night is coming, long winter is coming, and I Rickard Stark of House Stark, blah 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 blah, and he starts giving his words. I like that positioning when he says that the long night is coming from the north, it's coming down, and
Juxtaposition.
yeah, it's a cool scene and it's well done, but it also undercuts the last season of Game of Thrones, which I'm fine with which I'm fine with doing because it wasn't well done. Because
You're true
everybody
wine
expected
first.
Jon Snow to be the one to because he's Aegon, whatever, to be the one to do that, and he doesn't do that, and now it's Arya doing it, taking it up, but foreshadowing doesn't mean spoilers or make it, there's foreshadowing. It's what's supposed to happen. Jon Snow should have done it because he was the one to save the realm because he was the Targaryen, which would make this show so much better because a actual Targaryen saved the realm, not a Stark. But moving on past that, it's but so Aegon saw this whole thing 300 years in the past coming, and it'll be a Targaryen saving the realm. That just is like, okay, that's a definite show thing, I know, but it's just okay. You're trying to draw us in, trying to draw the Game of Thrones fan in, and we're gonna be like, okay, cool. When does that happen now? If say you're a person like my wife who never really watched Game of Thrones, she knows about it because I talk about it so much. Never really watched it, but you get a brand new person to watch the show, never heard of Game of Thrones, but they're watching this. They've got some 16-year-old that's now allowed to watch HBO, and their parents don't care. I'm gonna watch this big show right now. They have no fucking clue what that means, and they're now going to be watching it. They
About
may go
what?
back and
About what?
rewatch the Long Night, saving the Long Night, and all that. The prophecy that that Viserys tells Rhaenyra, that
For
I
a Song of Ice and
feel
Fire,
like-
right? Like,
As
Yeah,
somebody
those are
very
the-
comfortable in the dark over here, it just gives you more of the world to learn and explore. Like, I don't see it as
it's
a
a
problem.
jumping off point.
Like, I don't,
Juxtaposition.
but I'm okay with like not knowing everything. Like, it,
Juxtaposition.
and
I-
that's fair,
Juxtaposition.
but you're going to be wanting to see that culmination. But if you only watch this as a standalone show without watching the previous show, you will have
But they're designing it
resolution.
as not
yeah,
a single show.
I-
They're designing it as the show is called Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon.
I get it.
I
It's-
think
It's
coming
by
in-
nature it's
season
both.
1, episode 1 of Game of Thrones was maybe not, because
Oh, my
was
favorite episode.
far
my
more
favorite
difficult
epilogue. My
than
favorite
this, like, because we
prologue,
just had
sorry,
this, and then
prologue.
we have like
prologue.
people walking
Prologue.
down below or underneath, being like, "Oh, do you know who those were?" No,
Sure don't.
No, I
and I
don't-
get that.
like I feel
And
like
I
you're
did the same
just
thing with my
is
wife.
in the dark, but you can understand what's going on.
And that's fair. And I'm more coming from it from the cynical
Yeah, no, I get it.
Overwatcher and everything like that, but also the guy who produces or tries to produce entertaining content and everything
Right.
like that. Of if I catch a new viewer right now, I don't want you to have to go back and watch 7 seasons of a good show and 1 season of a shitty show.
I disagree.
I'm gonna
That's
say that.
okay.
You know,
I
but
do agree. It's just the season we disagree on. That's what it is.
that's fine, and that's fine. But it's like I don't want to have to make you go back and watch that to get the inside knowledge of. I'm making a spin-off, which is great. I love the spin-off sides of it, the Baratheon callbacks and the here and there and there and there. But if you're going to make a prophecy that's going to be fulfilled, but now you have to go back and watch this show, it's like, yeah. I mean, I'd rather this be a standalone thing and full knowledge put out there. I did not want to watch the show because I hate the fucking Targaryens. I was like, I'm not interested. I wanted the Long Night show. I wanted Blood Moon. But I've heard just recently, since I got back into the community and watching shit, Blood Moon was a failure. And I'm like, okay, I'm glad I didn't watch it because it was just a bad pilot episode and they just did not do things. At least this material has full material from George to be done. They may take creative licensing, but they have everything set.
You have 20 seconds to finish your thought. Go ahead.
And I'm done.
Yeah, he is.
I
Like, that
know,
was a
I'm
good.
actually done.
I
Yeah.
think-
I was
so-
like, I think he's done actually.
All joking aside, like, I think it would have been awesome if he just like said to her, like, "Oh, also in this vision was Ned Stark, and he got his head cut off, and his bastard." It just said like every detail.
So
the vision had all this stuff in there.
I'm gonna go ahead and pull the cord on where we're at right now.
Let's do it.
Yep.
We
need to-
skipped over a lot of things, and I think that's a call out
That's-
to
And that's your fault. Yeah.
how dense this episode was. We did not touch on all of the things that we wanted to talk about, but we have to finish
Cut it.
this.
Yeah, we gotta be done.
We got to be done, and so we're gonna do that right now. And we're looking forward to seeing everyone in the live chat. Thank you so much for being here every single weekend. We're
And
Every
looking-
single
I'm-
week,
I'm
like
gonna-
you haven't been here
Luke,
for years because
I-
we haven't been here,
every
and you
single
came
I'm
week.
back.
looking forward to them being here, and
Oh
I'm
my-
so
no.
happy that they're here.
I'm sorry, like
Yes,
after this
thank you all.
long, you're back. I am like the names that
It's
just popped up.
They're all
amazing.
back.
Oh.
They're back with it.
So good.
My butterfly is fluttering, is what
My
I'm going to
heart's
call
a
it.
flutter.
And thank you
My
guys so
heart's
much
on
for being
fire.
here
Thank you guys.
because
You did say like every weekend though, or whatever you said.
it's going to be
So-
a bit variant,
Every
but it's
so
going to be
let me give a
days or
quick
whatever.
for the next couple weeks. Let me give it the next 2 episodes. Just break down. We are planning on doing Monday night this coming Monday, August 20 or August 30th? No, August 29th. Oh, it's already passed. So August 29th, we're doing Monday
August
night.
29th is
around-
tomorrow.
Yeah, technically. Awesome.
No.
Get your notes done.
No, it is tomorrow. Today is Sunday.
Oh, yeah, no.
we're past midnight.
Yeah, there you go.
I did the same thing.
Yeah.
So tomorrow, August 29th, at around
Holy shit.
7:30ish Central Time, the one true time,
One
gonna
true
be
time zone.
we're covering episode 2 because we are all out of town this weekend, the following weekend. After that, we're going to be trying to
Can we
shoot
do
for-
Tuesday? Or is that not a thing? Is Tuesday an option?
Maybe.
Second?
I'm down with it. I mean,
Can we do Tuesday?
I'd rather have. All right, Tuesday the 30th.
I'm asking. No,
We are
we're
gonna-
talking about this
No.
live. Let's fucking talk about it live. Can we?
live.
Is there any reason we
I
could do it
prefer
Tuesday?
to so I can get breakdowns done and.
Let's do
everything I
Tuesday.
can
That's
I
All
fine.
can-
right, Tuesday,
Tuesday the 30th.
August 30th is our next episode.
Around 8 o'clock ish Central Time.
Yeah.
So we're gonna be on, and we'll be doing that, and then after that, we're shooting for Friday nights. We want because we don't like to get drunk on weeknights.
No, we'd
Yo,
like
Glenn
to,
and I
but we
have to get-
shouldn't.
Glenn and I both have to be up early as fuck to do shit and for work wise. So we don't want to do weeknights if we don't have to, but we're out of town for Labor Day weekend. And also look up Campfire Nights because we're doing that. Just look them
Campfire
up on
Nights.
Facebook.
There you go.
And you could become
anyway.
a campfire squire.
Now they can.
You can become a Campfire Squire. But we are shooting
have
for
to
Friday
throw
nights.
off.
There are going to be a few changes, but we will let you know in advance of that. But our next episode is going to be August
Tuesday.
30th.
Tuesday,
Tuesday,
8 p.m.
August 30th.
Tuesday.
Oh,
So yeah,
what Tuesday?
make sure you're in the live chat and everything. So thank you again. though.
And
Thank you.
everyone that was here tonight in the live chat, thank you so much. It's so great to see your names again. And
Gosh,
we did not. We get so enamored in our own conversation, which I think is probably best for the conversation. But we do glance at it. And
Oh, you
good,
killed me.
Oh, I've been
good
watching it the whole
fucking
night. I've been
grief.
trying. I've
Good
been
fucking
trying.
grief.
Don't
you.
mess
Thank
with
you so much.
bad bread, or you'll be toast
And you
Don't mess
don't
with
mess
that.
around with Phil H.
with
I think
eyeballs.
that's
All right, really
Phil
quick,
Phil
Least
Croce.
favorite
I
thing.
think is.
Does anybody have a least favorite thing?
I have a least and a favorite thing, I think.
So you have one, or so what we're doing
I'm
differently.
aware,
What we're
it's
doing
the same
differently.
thing.
It's you have a favorite thing or a least favorite thing.
It's a thought.
Oh,
So-
fuck,
And
it's
I
my
forgot about
favorite
that.
and my least favorite.
What is your choice?
It's both.
So tell me all about it.
I
Tell
was
me all
very
your thoughts
triggered
on
and
dog.
angry. Listen, I was very annoyed that here we are talking about how females are undervalued. We are a consolation prize. We are always like blah blah blah, and I'm just sick of it. I'm tired of it, and I think as a whole, there's this whole like upwarding trend that girls are like, I'm fucking done. We're all sick of it. And this show triggers and it's like, oh look, you can just like be a mom. You can just have
Our-
a baby. It's not
Our
that hard.
battlefield is the birth
Yeah, that's
bed.
my
Lunch
battlefield.
is a battlefield.
Like, and all these things, like, just if I have a,
If you
and
have
it
a
was
boy, it's cool.
so
But if you don't,
very like
You're fucked.
where I'm just like, oh my god.
you were fucked before that.
And I can see this man being a good husband because he's just so distraught that his wife has died. And I'm like, but you fucking made a turn. Like, what don't you understand? That, like, she needed more support than, okay, fine. That was my least favorite thing, but it was also my favorite because in this show specifically,
Showed it
it was done intentionally
to show it.
to show
Right.
how
Yeah.
just digging that so many, like half the population feels dug at over and over again in every facet of what they do. Like, I hated it because I'm like, oh my god, like,
I mean, are women more than baby makers?
I-
I'm just asking
I
for
am
the general
unsure.
public. I'm just asking.
but yes,
Entertainment.
like, right, entertainment,
I don't-
your whatever.
What's
Like,
the question right now?
I thought it was so well done because it
That
was
meant
done
with
in
sarcasm.
such
I
a
hopefully
way that I was absolutely like, God, this, like, what a shitty dude, what a shitty guy. Like, bars are low, bars are on the fucking ground. Like, you're not even meeting the standard. you're doing bare minimum, and then realizing like it's not because they're a show just trying to show girls that they're making a point.
They're trying to
It was an
show that.
intent to do this, and I'm like, I'm angry and I'm here for it.
And I'm ready to dirty the fuck out of this.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry. So I'm passionate.
let me go with mine right here.
Benji,
Real quick.
what were you? Did you have a favorite or a least favorite thing?
Well, apparently, my least favorite thing, I made a note of it, and it said they talked about it. And that was after, like, my first watch through, like, or on my second watch through, I was like, hey, I'm going to put that in there. I don't remember what it was. I have no clue. They talked about
Good
it.
comment,
I have
Ben.
no clue. But my favorite thing is, actually, shout out to Miguel Sapochnik. The fucking cinematography
He was the
of
best
this episode. He was the best
that
director.
they ever had on
Yes,
any of the Game of Thrones
absolutely.
episodes.
And I think he's a producer too. Like he's a key, like a core fucking guy with George and Corey or the
Cronel,
writer's name,
Ryan.
Ryan. Like those three are like the key people in this of doing it. And Miguel, it was just so beautifully done. Every scene was bright and just you could see it. And if Miguel, I don't know if Miguel did a long night, I hope he didn't, but you know, you're not gonna get that dark fucking sense of, and yeah, there's a difference between being a dark sense and a dark fucking you can't fucking see it. And it just the whole show was shot perfectly. This was an absolute perfect pilot episode. Even to the sense, my only bitch of it was, they repeated Rhaenyra's name 3 times in the first scene to make you know who this is. Beyond that,
You could say her name exactly.
they did it right. You look at the fucking Game of Thrones pilot first episode, and they had to go back, and it was bad. Like the very first one that D&D did without any knowledge, it was done very badly. And then they had to go back and reshoot a ton of shit. And then you learn that's, that's the queen's brother, and that's the queen's dwarf brother, this guy. And like, it's over, over voicing and all this. They didn't do that. There was not a missed beat. There was not a, we have to over explain this.
So you're saying it was good.
They explained it from a guy who hasn't read this section of the book. I understood exactly who every player was that needed to be explained.
I
That
mean,
was a good joke.
Thank you. So you're saying
You're saying it was good.
Glenn,
It was good, but for a dum-dum, it worked better.
No, and that's this is dense material that we're pulling from, right? That's where we're at. We're pulling from totally different thing, but we're pulling from the Silmarillion of this material. We're pulling from dense stuff for the information that we have, and it's not the most readable stuff that we have. It's not the most story-driven stuff, information. But they're making it a very enjoyable story to be a part of.
Even though they say fuck the Targaryens, I like the show.
I would fuck a Targaryen.
Glenda, before your girlfriend fucks a Targaryen.
Anyways,
please tell me your thoughts on God.
Or favorite things from this episode is, and I quote, this was just kind of one of those run-of-the-mill first episode of a series that is House of the Dragon.
Took the words from
Game of Thrones.
Right out of my fucking mouth.
I mean, we've seen this so many times.
Run-of-the-mill, season 1, episode 1, House of the Dragon. I mean, what do you want from me?
What's the question?
Run-of-the-mill.
Yeah, it's a run-of-the-mill.
Run-of-the-mill.
Run-of-the-mill first episode of a series.
Well said.
From another series that we've seen before.
Luke.
Right.
Spin-off.
So
It's
my
one of
final
those
thoughts on this episode.
Oh man.
Here we go. Buckle up, ladies and gentlemen. Corlys Valerian.
Oh my god.
We did not talk about enough, but
He's not featured enough though.
he's not featured enough. And
There is a little bit of that.
in all honesty, I think his character, he's fucking incredible. He did everything so well of being like, hey guys,
Who am I?
you know how like we watched Game of Thrones for like 100 years, and we were like, hey, maybe you guys should think about the White Walkers in the North. And that's kind of
He's
where
kinda
he's
talking
at
about
right
that.
now. He's like,
Not necessarily the White Walkers, but the crab feeders.
but he's like,
Which
hey,
are the first step
these pirates
to White
might
Walkers.
might be a real issue, and no one's fucking listening to it. Not even the fucking time of day. And yes, they call him the sea snake.
His name is Boat.
They call
that's
him the
his
sea
name.
snake as
That
well.
is-
As well.
Yes, it's also his name of his boat.
And he benefits the most if the sea trading routes are clean.
Free and clear.
Yes.
Mhm.
He absolutely benefits the most, but let's be honest, how many times do we say, like, if they would just like listen to anyone saying there's a real issue going on here? I like that it's harkening back, and they're playing on the same kinds of things that we
Yeah.
saw the small council ignore and joke about
He's very much
early
the
in
Viserys.
season 1 of Game of
Right,
Thrones.
and
It's like the exact same idea, right?
I just hope like the bad shit happens and then they go, what the fuck? And he's like, motherfucker, I said this shit, but you're
Hey,
more
you know
concerned
that
about the
song?
goddamn tournament.
You know
You
that
know
song? You know that song by Carrie Underwood? That's
No,
called
it's not by her. It's by Randy Travis.
A Totoso?
a fucking Totoso.
A Totoso.
Fucking a Totoso.
Fucking a
A
Totoso.
Totoso.
It's
All
Randy
right,
Travis with her, right?
I think that
With that
he.
said,
Sorry, go ahead, Benj.
no, I was rapping. So
No, we're wrapping
wrapped.
this up. Let's
Wrapping this
call this
up.
up.
Wrapped it.
So we are done. Thank you all for
Yes.
being here in this shit show that we'll call a first episode of.
Great.
We're
You're
shooting
running-
for an hour
running
and
the
a
mill
half.
first
We went 3
episode.
hours.
We are way over time, but that's kind of our prerogative,
That's our
and
shtick.
that's our shtick. And we did favorite, least favorite thing, kind of. It's okay.
Yep.
Let's just
So,
finish this thing off. Glenn.
Yep.
What's your house name?
I am Glenn of House Dizog.
House words.
You miss 99% of the shots you don't take.
House sigil.
It's a Swiss Mackenzie dog with a Wayne Gretzky jersey on
And your personal Twitter.
at Popsicle Stand.
Final thought on this episode.
Like I said, run of the mill, first episode of a new series that, we've is from another series based on.
Great point. So good. Benji.
Howdy, I'm
What
Sly
is your house
McLean.
name?
House McLean.
House words.
It's dangerous to drink alone.
And
Take
your
this.
your sigil.
3 black triangles on a red balloon.
Personal Twitter.
At Sly McLean.
Final thought on this episode.
Fuck the Targaryens. I'm in for this show.
Gertrude. Abby. What is your house name?
I am Gertie of House Condescension.
House words.
We don't quit.
Sigil.
It's a field of white with a raven sitting atop a black, up-pointed chevron.
Do you get like discounts on gasoline at all? Or
I mean, no.
just asking
On
for a
diesel.
friend.
Probably on Diesel.
Diesel.
I wish.
Okay.
Honestly,
Right.
that'd be great.
Personal Twitter.
I don't have one.
Good. Don't.
That's an
Final
interesting
thought
one.
on this episode.
I'm really glad to be back.
All right, Luke. What's your house name?
I am Lucan of House Blackbeard.
What are your words?
Ours is the drink.
What's your sigil?
An obsidian black chalice on a gold and blue checky background.
Tweety birds.
At Luca Ferocious.
Final thought.
I'm just so fucking happy that we're still doing this
Oh
and
my
we're
God.
back. I feel like I'm stealing Abby's answer, but that's really what I meant.
The gang is back
Yeah.
together.
The gang
Again,
is
thank
back
you all.
together, and
Boys are back
Thank
together.
you all.
I appreciate all of the people that are here in the chat with us all tonight, and we fucking lingered, we
On
dawdled,
your
we
finger.
dawdled,
Get
but
rid of me.
Sorry.
I'm so excited to be
You're
back,
good. I was
and
getting there.
and
It feels good
Let's
to see
fucking
Would you
our
like to lick
friends.
my finger?
I'm excited to see our friends.
It feels good to see our
Yes.
friends.
Feels, feels so good.
We know you care about us, and we love you, and thank you.
So
Sincerely.
you can become a patron. You can help support us doing this by going to patreon.com/stayimaginary. We've got some cool things there. Check it out. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter at KnowAndDrink. Boom. There you go. Send us a digital raven to knowandDrink@gmail.com. Subscribe, like, rate, and leave comments here on Drawbridge Media on YouTube. And yeah, hit the notification bell if you want to. You know, that's kind of up to you. I'm not gonna dominate your life and say do this. Ding. But yeah, hit the notification bell and tell every person you've ever met
Oh,
to
jeez.
subscribe
Okay.
to our channel.
I'll
That'd be
let
cool.
all my kids
Yeah.
know.
That'd be
They can
cool.
In order to
subscribe
watch,
to everyone
just
online.
subscribe.
We'll get a-
Steal
we'll get
their
a bill-
phones.
get a
Steal their
billboard
phones
together.
and subscribe to every person, every single person that you've ever met. Take their phones
Hey,
and just hit the subscription
steal
button.
someone's phone.
Because we
and then
really
just,
would like to get to 1,000 subscribers.
That'd be
Yes,
cool.
Like, that
that's
would-
the goal for
So
this season. We-
steal everyone's phone and get us to
Yes.
1,000.
Yeah,
That'd be
and
cool.
Yes,
Let's just do
please.
that while we're working on this because we care a lot.
Be a thief if you can.
About the
If you don't mind.
NYSF and LAPD.
Yes, great song. Great song. So we are gonna check out now, but as always,
As always, it's a new one, guys. I'm a better drinker than a knower.
Ah, nice.
As always, don't turn your back on the wolf pack.
I wanted to come up with something new, but I didn't. As always, winter is coming, and so am I.
and as always, thank you all for being here. Stay imaginary.
Imagery.
Stay imagery. Fuck you, Glenn.
As always, fuck you, blood.
Oh, now I gotta find the button to
As
click.
always,
I gotta
fuck
find the
you,
button to
Glenn.
click. All right.
As always, I gotta find the button to click.
And as always,